Chapter 1037. Since Gong Qi had been crippled by Ning Cheng's punch, he estimated that he would need at least a few months to recover. Xiuqian, who had called Gong Qi over to help, was even more dumbfounded. She guessed that Ning Cheng's cultivation level was not low, and was most likely at the late-stage Dao birth. However, even if Ning Cheng was at the late-stage Dao birth, big brother Gong Qi would not be weaker than him. However, she had never expected that Ning Cheng would cripple Gong Qi with just one punch. Could a late-stage Dao birth cultivator do this? Gong Qi trembled as he took out a pill and swallowed it, while staring at Ning Cheng in shock. The woman from the Silver Dragon clan, who had been watching the fight from the side, on seeing Ning Cheng seriously injure Gong Qi with a single punch, immediately threw out an optical message in panic. Ning Cheng also felt relieved when he saw the other Silver Dragon clan woman, who came with Gong Qi, throw out a message. He had shown mercy to Gong Qi, otherwise he could have killed Gong Qi with a single punch. He had purposely dealt a heavy blow so that Gong Qi could call for reinforcements. If the Silver Dragon tribe really came and Ba Meng didn't, he could go with the Silver Dragon tribe to solve the problem. He knew Gong Huayu in the Silver Dragon race. As long as he showed his identity and called out to Gong Huayu, he would most likely be treated as an honored guest. No matter how ruthless Deacon Gorge was, he wouldn't dare to cause trouble at the Silver Dragon clan. This way he could help Mo and avoid the Deacon of the Gorge. Why not? However, things might not necessarily go in the direction Ning Cheng expected. Although Ning Cheng's gaze fell on Xiuqian, Gong Qi and the others, his attention remained on Deacon Gorge. After he had injured Gong Qi with a punch, he saw Deacon Gorge walking over quickly. He could even feel Deacon Gorge's sharp killing intent. Oh no, Deacon Xia was going to fight for justice just like him. As long as this fellow came over, he would definitely say that he was ruthless and help Gong Qi this way. Deacon Gorge could get rid of him and curry favor with Gong Qi. Ning Cheng secretly felt that he had miscalculated. At this moment, the woman with the veil over her face also walked over. She stared at Ning Cheng and spoke with a deep voice. Is your cultivation really at the Dao sculpting realm? Ning Cheng didn't bother to answer this woman's words. He pulled Mo and said, hurry up and come with me. Otherwise, we won't have a good time. Not only was Mo rescued by Ning Cheng, but she also implicated Ning Cheng, causing her to feel guilty in her heart. Now that Ning Cheng wanted to take him away, he naturally would not raise any objections. Seeing Ning Cheng pulling Mo away, Deacon Xia pushed through the crowd and rushed over. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to pull Mo into the nearest luxurious rest stop and directly spoke, I want the best room. The waiter of the rest stop had also seen Ning Cheng fighting with the Silver Dragon clan's Gong Qi outside. Therefore, when Ning Cheng asked for the best room, he did not dare to agree. I'm sorry, fellow Taoist, but our rest stop's rooms are all full, the waiter quickly said. How many spirit crystals does the most expensive room here cost per day? Ning Cheng didn't care about it, and instead asked about the price. 9,000 high-grade divine crystals, the shop assistant answered quickly. Ning Cheng directly threw a storage bag onto the counter and spoke. I will wait here, as long as there is an empty room, I will immediately go in. With that, Ning Cheng pulled Mo to the guest waiting hall of the rest stop. Ning Cheng believed that even if the Deacon of the Gorge had a lot of courage, he would not dare to start a fight here. This rest stop was filled with array formations and restrictions. As long as Deacon Xia dared to make a move here, someone would immediately deal with him. Anyone who could open such a big rest stop in the Sea Dragon Sacred City would not be an ordinary person. The waiter naturally knew what Ning Cheng meant. Ning Cheng wanted to avoid trouble in the rest stop, so he could not drive Ning Cheng away. Ning Cheng had even dared to fight with Gong Qi, let alone a small fellow like him. At this time, he could only send out a message to inform his deacon of the rest stop. Mo was not good with words, nor did he have any schemes. Ning Cheng pulled him in and saw Ning Cheng sit down, so he stood beside Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng had offended people because of him. If something happened to Ning Cheng, he decided to pay with his life. Do you think the Silver Dragon clan will not find you if you hide here? Or if you hide here, they will not dare to make a move? The female cultivator with a veil over her face walked in, and stood opposite Ning Cheng. Like most people, she also thought that Ning Cheng had entered the rest stop to avoid the Silver Dragon clan's experts. Ning Cheng smiled, and spoke in an indifferent manner. Maybe we can hide from it? This kind of thing, who can say clearly? My name is Inueshu, and I come from the Sunken Fish Palace. What I want to tell you is that the woman you just taught a lesson is called Zhu Xiuqian. She is my junior sister. The woman with a veil over her face spoke in a cold tone. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness scanned the Deacon Gorge outside the rest stop. He took out a teacup unhurriedly, poured a cup of spirit tea, and handed it to Mo. Mo shook his head, indicating that there was no need. Ning Cheng did not stand on ceremony. He took a sip of the spirit tea and placed it on the jade table in front of him. Oh, do you mean that you want to make a move on me here? This place is not far from the Sunken Fish Palace. I want to invite you to the Sunken Fish Palace, said Inueshu as she stared at Ning Cheng. She was sure that Ning Cheng was at most at the peak Dao modeling. A peak Dao modeling could actually injure a mid-stage Dao birth sacred emperor with one punch. She absolutely did not believe that there was no problem. If Ning Cheng did not agree, she would make a move immediately. She had to take Ning Cheng away before the Silver Dragon clan arrived. After she and Aunt Xian had participated in the Elixir discussion conference, Aunt Xian had asked her not to go into seclusion and come out to gain experience like junior sister Zhongming Yuxiu. She also knew what Aunt Xian meant. Aunt Xian probably felt that she was not very mature in dealing with people, which was why she had asked her to come out. In fact, she also wanted to come out and look for Ning Cheng. She had once boasted that Ning Cheng would kneel at her feet and willingly work for the Sunken Fish Palace. Unfortunately, she did not have a chance to use her skills, as she had not met Ning Cheng after the Elixir discussion conference. After a few years of experience, she had finally realized her shortcomings. At least she was no longer as arrogant as before. Otherwise, she would not have been with the Silver Dragon clan's Gongqi. With her superior intelligence, she quickly formed her own opinions about the people and things around her. Because of this, she wanted to take Ning Cheng away before the Silver Dragon clan arrived. Ning Cheng was a Dao modeling itinerant cultivator, so it would be strange if he did not have secrets. Since he had secrets, he could not tell the Silver Dragon clan. Ning Cheng's heart stirred. Going to the Sunken Fish Palace was not bad. He also had acquaintances in the Sunken Fish Palace, and the Sunken Fish Palace owed him a favor. However, Deacon Xia was waiting outside. Once he went to the Sunken Fish Palace, Deacon Xia would probably make a move immediately. I can go with you to the Sunken Fish Palace, but I have offended someone. What if someone intercepts us on the way to the teleportation array? Ning Cheng immediately said. He saw Deacon Xia walk in and seemed ready to make a move. Inueshu was slightly stunned. She had not expected Ning Cheng to be so easy to talk to. She had been prepared to make a move, but Ning Cheng did not need her to do so. After she had suggested it, Ning Cheng had agreed. Don't worry. The Silver Dragon clan will still give me face. I promise not to let them hurt you as long as you come with me, Inueshu said proudly. After a few years of trial tests, she had become much more mature in dealing with people. However, she could not get rid of the pride in her heart no matter what. She was at the early stage Dao transformation realm, so she believed that she would not be afraid of a late-stage Dao transformation realm expert. Would a primordial Dao sacred emperor from the Silver Dragon clan dare to make a move on her? Unless he wanted to cause a dispute between the two major sections. Mo, if there's nothing else, come with me, Ning Cheng said as he turned his head to speak to Mo. Ning Cheng turned to Mo and spoke. Mo was a martial cultivator without any backing. Once he left, Gongqi and that bitch Zhu Xiuqian would definitely play with Mo to death. Yes. Mo did not say anything else to not implicate Ning Cheng. He did not talk much, but he was not a fool. If he wanted to implicate Ning Cheng, he would have done so long ago. It would be nonsense to say that he would not implicate Ning Cheng now. Ning Cheng walked to the counter and took back the 9,000 divine crystals he had given to the shop assistant. Then he walked out of the inn with Mo and Inueshu. Upon seeing Ning Cheng leave, the shop assistant heaved a sigh of relief. Stop! Inueshu and Ning Cheng had just walked out of the inn when they were stopped by a man in a yellow robe. Inueshu's eyes turned cold. What's the matter? She could see that the man in the yellow robe had a higher cultivation level than her. He was even a primordial Dao sacred emperor expert. So what if he was a primordial Tao sacred emperor? How could he dare make a move on her in the Sea Dragon sacred city? This person went too far just now. He actually seriously injured Taoist Gong Qi from the Silver Dragon clan. I couldn't stand it and wanted to seek justice for Taoist Gong Qi, Deacon Xia said as he pointed at Ning Cheng. He also knew that this excuse had expired. Unfortunately, he could not find a more perfect excuse. Yin Yueshu snorted coldly. This matter started because of Zhu Xiuqian from the Sunken Fish Palace, so the Sunken Fish Palace intervened. Deacon Xia's face was gloomy. He had not expected that Yin Yueshu would come from the Sunken Fish Palace of the 10 major sects. If he had known earlier, he would have stopped Ning Cheng from seriously injuring Gong Qi. I received a favor from a senior from the Silver Dragon clan in my early years. Please forgive me, fairy from the Sunken Fish Palace. After I repay this favor, I will hand him over to you. Deacon Xia took a deep breath and said word by word. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his hand to grab Ning Cheng. He knew that it would not do him any good to drag things out. The most practical thing was to take Ning Cheng away as soon as possible. Yin Yueshu had not expected that such a thing would happen as soon as she had promised Ning Cheng. If things had not been so coincidental, she would have thought that she had been used. Only Ning Cheng knew that Yin Yueshu had really been used by him. Boom. Yin Yueshu's mountain and river plate did not even transform before it was blasted away by the rainbow light that Deacon Xia had casually taken out. Yin Yueshu's entire body was also blasted away, and she spat out a few blood arrows in the air. The powerful divine essence blasted off the veil on her face, revealing her delicate and beautiful face. No matter how arrogant she was, she could not even withstand half a move from Deacon Xia. Yin Yueshu, who was still in the air, sent out a message. This was not something that she could be proud of. Someone had dared to make a move on her in the Sea Dragon sacred city. That person was definitely a great enemy of the Sunken Fish Palace. She, an early-stage Tao transformation cultivator, did not need to deal with such a person. Deacon Xia acted as if he had not seen the message and directly grabbed Ning Cheng. He wanted to take Ning Cheng away as quickly as possible. Once the people from the Silver Dragon clan and the Sunken Fish Palace came, he was afraid that he would not be able to leave. Chapter 1038. Ning Cheng knew about Deacon Gorge's attack and reacted immediately. However, he couldn't resist Deacon Gorge's terrifying spirit essence. With a crack, Ning Cheng's domain shield shattered instantly. Unlike Yin Yueshu, who had been blasted away, Ning Cheng was suppressed by a powerful domain and couldn't move at all. Mo, who was standing in the distance, saw Ning Cheng's bones cracking. Seeing that he was about to be caught by Deacon Gorge's huge handprint, he immediately rushed up and slammed down with his iron rod. An Eternal Realm warrior attacking a primordial Tao Divine Emperor's spirit essence suppression was more outrageous than hitting a rock with an egg. With a puff sound, Mo's internal organs and bones were crushed. He spat out pieces of his internal organs and flew out like a kite. He hit the defensive restriction of another shop and collapsed to the ground, unable to move. All this was because he had touched the edge of Deacon Gorge's spirit essence suppression hand. Deacon Gorge hadn't diverted any energy to deal with him. Otherwise, even 100 Mo would have turned into nothingness. Although Mo's attack didn't have any effect on Deacon Gorge, it had an effect on Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng was suppressed by Deacon Gorge's spirit essence hand. Under Deacon Gorge's law sacred ability, he didn't know how to resist. Apart from taking out the bead, he could only wait for death. Ning Cheng naturally didn't want to wait for death. He took out the bead without hesitation. The moment he was about to take out the bead, Mo's iron rod slammed down and sent Mo flying. At the same time, he received a message from Ba Meng. Ba Meng was on his way. However, Ba Meng was too far away, so Ning Cheng could only rely on himself. Deacon Gorge's spirit essence suppression was perfect, but under Mo's iron rod, Ning Cheng caught a trace of nomological Tao runes. It was like a huge cow being bitten by an ant, causing the cow's muscles to change slightly. Deacon Gorge was this huge bull. His nomological spirit technique had only left a few traces, but Ning Cheng had managed to catch it. Ning Cheng's time wheel sacred ability condensed in an instant. Dozens of time wheels bombarded these traces, and a gap appeared in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng rushed out. Under Deacon Gorge's spirit essence suppression, the powerful force made Ningcheng spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. However, this was more than enough for Ningcheng to escape from the suppression of the Gorge's deacon. As such, Ningcheng naturally would not use the bead. "It's you." Inyueshu finally recognized Ningcheng, as the disguise on Ningcheng's face had been blasted away by Deacon Xia, just like her veil. Ningcheng turned into a shadow and flashed past Inyueshu. Inyueshu could only hear Ningcheng's voice transmission before he left. "Help me take care of my friend. I owe you a favor." By the time Inyueshu reacted, Ningcheng had disappeared from the street. Ningcheng crazily rushed out of the Sea Dragon Sacred City. Staying in the Sea Dragon Sacred City would only lead to his death. The direction he wanted to go was the direction where Ba Meng came from. Xiaji was extremely shocked that Ningcheng broke free from his god art. Ningcheng was many times stronger than ordinary Dao molding divine emperors. Now that Ningcheng rushed out of the Sea Dragon Sacred City, he felt slightly relieved. As long as Ningcheng rushed out of the Sea Dragon Sacred City, he could catch Ningcheng again. Sea Dragon Sacred City was different from the secret bazaar. It was not hidden in the sea. Instead, it was suspended on the surface of the Grand Essence Sea. From afar, it looked like a huge mountain. After Ningcheng rushed out of the Sea Dragon Sacred City, he went directly above the Grand Essence Sea. Xiaji was too close behind him, so he could only desperately use the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. He had no time to bring out the starry sky wheel. The twin wings of the heavenly clouds couldn't maintain its speed for a long time, and it wouldn't take long for Deacon Xia to catch up. Ningcheng sighed helplessly. It seemed that Mo's desperate stick couldn't get him to keep the spiritual consciousness energy bead. He didn't know how long it would take for Ba Meng to get here. "Don't worry, I'm here." Ningcheng was still thinking about when Ba Meng would come over when a voice transmission fell into Ningcheng's ears. Ba Meng didn't have a spaceship under his feet. His entire body came over through the void, and his Dao runes circulated without any restraint. Ningcheng was overjoyed. Ba Meng had finally advanced to the primordial Dao realm. However, his Dao runes were overflowing. Apparently, he hadn't completely stabilized in the primordial Dao realm. Ningcheng didn't need to call out to him at all. As soon as Ba Meng arrived, his sun-moon pagoda transformed into 2 rays of light. The 2 rays of light instantly covered the entire space and shot towards Deacon Xia. Deacon Xia was in a hurry to chase after Ningcheng, and was about to take control of Ningcheng. As long as he could take control of Ningcheng, he would immediately escape. But he didn't expect that someone would suddenly attack him at this time. Not only did Ningcheng not feel Ba Meng's sudden arrival, but Deacon Xia also only felt it when Ba Meng attacked. Even if Ba Meng's Dao rune foundation wasn't stable, he was still a Dao-confirming Holy Emperor, who had stepped into the second step. What's more, Ba Meng had always been a bloodthirsty killer in the Grand Essence Sea. His strength wasn't any weaker than Deacon Xia's. With the Sun-Moon Pagoda suppressing him, how could Deacon Xia dare to continue chasing after Ningcheng? The weapon in his hand rolled out and transformed into several rays of light that blocked Ba Meng's Sun-Moon Pagoda. Ningcheng didn't try to escape. Only at this time did he see that Deacon Xia's weapon was a 6 harmonies flower bead. Boom! The 2 attacks collided, creating a vacuum in the surrounding sea. It even blasted open a huge ravine on the seabed. The entire space trembled under the impact of the 2 attacks. Ningcheng swallowed the explosive spirit pill without hesitation, and directly brought out the 5-colored star splitter arrow. When Deacon Xia saw Ningcheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow, he suddenly felt his scalp tingle. If it was a one-on-one fight, he wouldn't fear Ningcheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow. But now, there was a Dao Essence powerhouse who had the same cultivation as him helping Ningcheng. Coupled with Ningcheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow, there was no other way for him to go but to fall. No matter how good the things on Ningcheng were, they weren't as good as his life. Deacon Xia grabbed a talisman, and was about to bring it out. If he faced Ningcheng alone, even if Ningcheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow locked onto him, he could still bring out the talisman and escape with Ningcheng's current cultivation. Even if he didn't escape, he could still block the arrow. Unfortunately, there was also Ba Meng. Ba Meng was only surprised that Ningcheng could bring out the 5-colored star splitter arrow, but he quickly got used to it. Ningcheng already had the 7 bridges spirit technique, so what if he had another 5-colored star splitter arrow? The moment Deacon Xia brought out the talisman, Ba Meng's Sun and Moon Pagoda's Sun and Moon radiance erupted. The Dao charm of the Sun and Moon will blasted down, directly suppressing the rainbow light transformed from Deacon Xia's 6 harmonies pearls. Even the surrounding space was locked down by the Sun and Moon Pagoda at this moment. Deacon Xia's expression changed drastically when he saw that he couldn't activate the escape talisman in a short time. He knew that he had made an unforgivable mistake. The longer the 5-colored star splitter arrow dragged on, the less likely it was for him to escape. He shouldn't have brought out the escape talisman immediately. He should have first escaped the range of the 5-colored star splitter arrow's killing intent, and then brought out the escape talisman. The gray killing intent instantly gathered, and the majestic and violent 5-colored star splitter arrow's killing intent turned countless times more violent than before. The arrow intent, exuding a deathly aura, seemed to contain a sense of unhappiness. Unhappiness that Deacon Xia had once escaped. Unhappiness that under its killing intent, someone still had to use an escape talisman to escape. As the arrow faded, the 5 colors spread, the killing intent gathered, and death spread. Stop, I apologize to you. You can't touch me. I'm a deacon of the Sea Sky Pavilion. I'll give you all the shares of the Sea Sky Pavilion. After understanding that the 5-colored star splitter arrow had completely locked onto him, Deacon Xia went completely crazy. For the first time, he felt panic and unease. For the first time, he felt so afraid. He longed to do it all over again. If he could do it all over again, he would never have chased after Ningcheng alone. Even if he wanted to deal with Ningcheng, he would have to bring a few helpers. Ningcheng's killing intent was as firm as the 5-colored star splitter arrow. Even if Deacon Xia screamed, it couldn't stop his determination to kill Deacon Xia. Whoosh, the black arrow, which had completely disappeared, almost tore the entire void into fragments. It rolled up endless void killing intent and blasted out. At this moment the arrow disappeared, and the 5-colored longbow also faded into the void. The entire space was filled with boundless killing intent, and only a gray that represented death. No bow, no arrow, no stars, no splitter. Even if Deacon Xia was a Dao Essence powerhouse, he couldn't compare to a 1-star powerhouse. The gray killing intent caused his glabella to explode, and only Deacon Xia's unwilling eyes remained open. However, his eyes lost their luster and were replaced by despair and regret. Ningcheng raised his hand and grabbed Deacon Xia's ring and the 6 harmonies flower bead. Feeling completely relieved, Deacon Xia was like a nail nailed to his back, making him feel uncomfortable. Now that he killed Deacon Xia, he felt much more relaxed. The surroundings returned to normal, as if nothing had happened here. Ba Meng, however, knew that Ningcheng had just killed a Dao Essence powerhouse. No one would believe that a Dao molding holy emperor could kill a Dao Essence powerhouse. In fact, he had seen Ningcheng kill a Dao Essence powerhouse with his own eyes. Maybe if he hadn't restrained this Dao Essence powerhouse, Ningcheng wouldn't have been able to kill him. But in other words, even if he was in a stalemate with a Dao Essence powerhouse, a Dao Actualization Holy Emperor might not be able to kill this Dao Essence powerhouse. Brother Ningcheng, I haven't seen you for a few years and your strength has improved a lot. In a few more years, I'm afraid I won't even be able to see your shadow. Ba Meng put away his magic weapon and stepped through the void. Ningcheng laughed. Brother Ba, congratulations on reaching the Dao Essence realm. Congratulations to Ba Luo for returning to your side. Ba Meng also laughed. Fortunately, I have a talisman in my hand, and I'm not far from you. I rushed over as soon as I received your message. Otherwise, you would have been in trouble. He understood what Ningcheng meant. Since he had reached Dao Essence, it meant that Ba Luo had definitely woken up. Otherwise, his Dao heart wasn't perfect, and he wouldn't have reached Dao Essence so quickly. I wouldn't have been in trouble, but I can't vent the anger in my heart. So I really have to thank you for saving me this time. Ningcheng smiled. Ba Meng waved his hand. We're brothers. Why do we need to thank you? I don't know how long I'll have to thank you. Why didn't you come out of the dark nether realm? It's a long story. Let's go to the Sea Dragon Sacred City. I have a friend in the Sea Dragon Sacred City. He was injured and I want to see him. Ningcheng replied. Chapter 1039. As soon as the two entered Sea Dragon's sacred city, Ningcheng saw three people walking over quickly. It seemed like they were going to leave the city. One of them was a tall, silver-haired woman who had come with Gongqi. Following this silver-haired woman was a Tao Essence Divine Emperor and a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor. Ningcheng didn't see Yin Yueshu and Zhu Xiuqian from Sunken Fish Palace. It's him. He injured Big Brother Gong. The tall silver-haired woman pointed at Ningcheng. When Deacon Xiao attacked, this silver-haired woman had been staring at Ningcheng. She had also seen Ningcheng's mask being blown off. At first glance, Ningcheng was able to recognize him. Ningcheng didn't change his appearance. Since Deacon Xiao had been killed, no one would suddenly attack him. Now that he was with Ba Meng, as a Tao Essence Pill Saint, he didn't need to change his appearance. You injured my Silver Dragon clan's Gongqi? That Tao Essence Divine Emperor stared at Ningcheng and asked coldly. He had wanted to attack Ningcheng when he saw him. However, he found that things seemed to be out of his expectations. Ningcheng had a Tao Essence Divine Emperor like Ba Meng. Although he could see that Ba Meng's Tao Essence Tao runes hadn't stabilized, he was indeed a second-step Tao Vindication Divine Emperor. That's right, I did it, Ningcheng said straightforwardly. He didn't kill Gongqi as long as he brought out Gong Huayu. He believed that this matter could be easily resolved. Your border ocean red hair Ba Meng. You're a Tao Essence Divine Emperor. That Tao Actualization Divine Emperor finally recognized Ba Meng and said in shock. There was a hint of envy in his tone. A Tao Actualization Divine Emperor, who was once a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor, like him suddenly stood at another height. Ba Meng said in a deep voice. That's right, I'm Red Hair Ba Meng. Ningcheng is my friend. His business is my business. Ba Meng didn't know that Ningcheng and Silver Dragon clan's Gong Huayu were friends. Now that he stopped Ningcheng and said that Ningcheng had injured Gongqi, it was clearly a Silver Dragon clan expert. It seemed that Ningcheng had gotten into big trouble this time. However, he didn't care. Without Ningcheng, Ba Meng and his son would have been long gone. Now that Ningcheng needed his help, he, Ba Meng, was naturally duty-bound. The Tao Essence Divine Emperor from the Silver Dragon clan glanced at Ba Meng and said calmly to Ningcheng. No matter who you are, you have to give an explanation for hurting my Silver Dragon clan's disciple. So, you are no exception. Obviously, Ba Meng's words didn't make this Tao Essence Divine Emperor let Ningcheng go. Ningcheng showed a calm smile. Naturally, I will give your Silver Dragon clan an explanation. Now I'm going to see my friend. When my friend is fine, I'll give you an explanation. The Tao Essence Divine Emperor glanced at Ba Meng again, and finally nodded. As long as Ningcheng did not try to escape, then it would be fine. When Ningcheng returned to the original place, Emo had already stood up. Other than looking a bit dispirited, his injuries did not seem to be serious. It's you? Emo looked at Ningcheng in confusion. Do you know me? Ningcheng asked. Emo nodded. When I went to buy jade slips in the Boundary Essence Spirit Sea City, you followed behind me. I didn't expect to meet you in the Sea Dragon's sacred city. There was one more thing he didn't say. Back then, Ningcheng was at most similar to him. But now he was far worse than Ningcheng. At this moment, Emo also understood why Ningcheng was willing to help him despite not knowing him. There was a kind of friendship called mutual appreciation. Ningcheng appreciated him, and he also appreciated Ningcheng's temperament. Ningcheng sighed inwardly. Mo's memory was too powerful. Back then he had just followed behind Emo. The two of them hadn't even spoken half a word. Yet Emo could remember it so clearly. Yin Yueshu and Sun Rushuan stood next to Emo. Zhu Xiuqian lowered her head and stood at the back. She had clearly been scolded. Greetings, Pill Sage Ning. When Sun Rushuan saw Ningcheng come over, she immediately walked over with a smile and greeted him with a cultivator's greeting. Yueshu greets Pill Sage Ning. Yin Yueshu also hurriedly came over to greet him. The arrogance on her face had long disappeared, replaced by gentleness and gentleness. Ningcheng hurriedly returned the greeting and said, Thank you, Senior Sister Tsun, for helping my friend. Thank you, Junior Sister Yin. Ningcheng had appeared as a primordial Tao alchemy saint, so it was not against the rules for him to call Tsun Rushuan Senior Sister. As for Yin Yueshu, calling her junior sister meant that he thought highly of her. Sun Rushuan didn't point out that it was inappropriate for Ning Cheng to call her senior sister, and then junior sister Yin Yueshu. Instead, she giggled and said, I wonder if Alchemy Saint Ning is free. If you are, the Sunken Fish Palace welcomes you. Ning Cheng smiled slightly and didn't agree or refuse. He only said, let's find a rest stop and sit down to talk slowly. Ba Meng, who had originally thought that there would be a fierce battle, hadn't expected Sun Rushuan to be so respectful to Ning Cheng. Besides, Sun Rushuan seemed to think that it was normal for Ning Cheng to call her senior sister. Ba Meng naturally knew who Sun Rushuan was. She was a primordial Dao expert of the Sunken Fish Palace. Ba Meng knew that Ning Cheng was an alchemy master, but how could Ning Cheng be an alchemy saint? Not only was Ba Meng puzzled, but the few people from the Silver Dragon clan also looked at Ning Cheng and Sun Rushuan in confusion. The primordial Dao sacred emperor from the Silver Dragon clan frowned, and didn't say anything. Sun Rushuan and Ning Cheng had a close relationship. If Gongqi was beaten up, it would be hard to get justice. Wait, Alchemy Saint Ning? The primordial Dao sacred emperor instantly came to a realization. Wasn't this Ning Cheng, who had helped the young palatial master refine the 6-yin soul pill? Alchemy Saint Ning, who had been in the limelight at the alchemy discussion conference, and represented the great essence realm in the 5 realms pill competition. After understanding this, the primordial Dao sacred emperor from the Silver Dragon clan broke out in cold sweat. Fortunately, he hadn't directly attacked Ning Cheng. If he had, he would have been finished. After understanding Ning Cheng's identity, the primordial Dao sacred emperor hurriedly stepped forward and said with cupped fists, I'm Gong Shimao from the Silver Dragon clan. Greetings, Alchemy Saint Ning. Everyone in the Silver Dragon clan knew that Ning Cheng had helped the Silver Dragon clan's young palatial master Gong Huayu refine a cauldron of 6-yin soul pill. After Gong Shimao greeted them, the other Dao actualization divine emperor and the silver-haired woman also cupped their fists and greeted Ning Cheng. Gong Qi's status in the Silver Dragon clan was very high, but it couldn't be higher than the young palatial master Gong Huayu. Unless they were stupid, no one from the Silver Dragon clan would become enemies with Ning Cheng, whom Gong Huayu regarded as his most valuable friend. As Ning Cheng's friend, Ba Meng was also full of doubts, but he didn't ask. Seeing Ning Cheng's group enter a nearby inn, Gong Qi's face turned livid with anger. He was also a direct descendant of the Silver Dragon clan. Now he finally saw clearly that he was worse than a dog compared to Gong Huayu. His father, Gong Jiufei, was Gong Huayu's uncle. If Gong Huayu hadn't stopped him, the Silver Dragon clan's young palatial master would definitely be his. After the group entered the inn's private room, Gong Shimao immediately apologized to Ning Cheng. Then Zhu Xiuqian, Yin Yueshu, and the others also stood up to apologize to Ning Cheng. After everyone was polite, Sun Rushuan said, I heard from Yueshu that someone is against alchemy sage Ning. I wonder if the Sunken Fish Palace can help? And the Silver Dragon clan. Alchemy sage Ning is an important guest of the Silver Dragon clan. How dare someone be so ignorant as to make things difficult for alchemy sage Ning? Gong Shimao didn't show any weakness and immediately stood up to express his friendship. Ning Cheng smiled slightly. That person later realized that he was in the wrong, so I persuaded him to leave. Sun Rushuan glanced at Ba Meng, who was sitting next to Ning Cheng, and thought to herself, kill him. If alchemy sage Ning could suffer a loss, then he wouldn't be the Ning Cheng I know. Taoist Ning, you must be going to participate in the 5 realms pill competition, right? Gong Shimao also wanted to build a relationship with Ning Cheng, and took the initiative to ask. Ning Cheng nodded and said, yes. Because I've been too far away recently, I rushed back in a hurry and used the teleportation array of the Sea Dragon Sacred City. At that time, I would have to use the teleportation array of the Silver Dragon clan and the Sunken Fish Palace. This time, without waiting for Sun Rushuan to speak, Gong Shimao quickly spoke up. Naturally, there's no problem. Alchemy Sage Ning can use my Silver Dragon clan's teleportation array at any time. Young Palace Master hasn't come out of seclusion yet. If Alchemy Sage Ning wants to, you can come to my Silver Dragon clan's seat of honor. Ning Cheng saw that Sun Rushuan seemed to want to speak, so he simply said, My friend, Association Master Chung, got poisoned. I'm in a hurry to return to Heaven Essence Sacred City, so I can't." Ning Cheng's words stopped abruptly before he could finish them. He suddenly thought of why Ching Hotian got poisoned. It was definitely to lure him out. Now that he exposed himself in the Sea Dragon Sacred City, once the person who lured him out learned about it, would he be able to reach Heaven Essence Sacred City safely? Thinking of this, Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. He had just killed the Gorge Deacon who chased him for hundreds of millions of miles, but he still found that he wasn't safe. If his identity hadn't been exposed, he might have been able to reach Heaven Essence Sacred City safely. But now it seemed that he wouldn't be able to reach Heaven Essence Sacred City safely. Sun Rushuan and Gong Shimao were both old foxes. So when Ning Cheng suddenly stopped, the two immediately understood what was going on. When Ning Cheng mentioned Chung Hotian's name, he suddenly stopped. Apparently he thought of something. Chung Hotian got poisoned by the markbone poison, which meant that Ning Cheng could refine the heaven-extending markbone pill. With such a coincidence, if Ning Cheng said that it had nothing to do with Ning Cheng, they wouldn't believe it. "Dao friend Ning, my Sunken Fish Palace's Palace Master Luan is going to Heaven Essence Sacred City. I will also accompany the Palace Master. If Dao friend Ning is willing, we can travel together." Sun Rushuan immediately made a decision after grasping the problem. Gong Shimao also understood the problem. Although he felt anxious, he couldn't do anything about it. Silver Dragon Clan's only primordial chaos Holy Emperor was still in seclusion, and he was only at the middle stage Dao Essence realm. Ning Cheng also had an early stage Dao Essence realm cultivator by his side. He didn't know if Ning Cheng would look at him or not. Regardless of whether Ning Cheng looked at him or not, Gong Shimao had no choice but to cup his fists and say, "I also plan to go to Heaven Essence Sacred City. Moreover, my Silver Dragon Clan is prepared to fully support Pill Sage Ning's participation in the Five Realms Pill competition. I wonder if I can accompany Dao friend Ning?" Ning Cheng understood the meaning of these two. Of course he wouldn't refuse. He stood up and cupped his fists. Heaven Essence Sacred City is a long way away. With more people, it would be much safer. After I reach Heaven Essence Sacred City, I'll still have some time. I wonder if there's anything I can help senior apprentice Sister Tsin and Brother Gong? Sun Rushuan and Gong Shimao felt overjoyed. The reason why they said so much was because they were waiting for Ning Cheng to say this. Chapter 1040. Ning Cheng was a primordial Dao alchemy saint, so he naturally wanted to ask Ning Cheng for alchemy. However, Sun Rushuan and Gong Shimao only asked Ning Cheng to refine a few batches of medicinal pills for them. They didn't say anything about the medicinal pills. Obviously, the two of them did not want to let the other know the name of the pill that they wanted Ning Cheng to refine. Ning Cheng also understood the truth behind this, as the few of them interjected into the topic, and the conversation was quite congenial. Because Ning Cheng didn't want to stay in the Sea Dragon Sacred City for too long. After everyone chatted for a while, Ning Cheng proposed to head to the Heaven Essence Sacred City immediately. Since Ning Cheng wanted to leave, Sun Rushuan and Gong Shimao naturally had no objections. "Mo, my name is Ning Cheng and I am also a pill master. Do you want to come with me to the Heaven Essence Sacred City now, or do you want to stay in the Sea Dragon Sacred City?" Ning Cheng looked at martial cultivator Mo beside him. Mo bowed to Ning Cheng and said, "After leaving the Sea Dragon Sacred City, I plan to head to the Grand Essence Sea to gain experience." Hearing that Mo didn't want to go to Heaven Essence Sacred City, Ning Cheng didn't care about it. He just stood up and said goodbye to Mo. Mo was a martial cultivator, and martial cultivators lived the life of an ascetic monk. Thousand Leaves Sacred City was located in the northernmost part of the Grand Essence Domain, on the southern shore of the Grand Essence Sea. This was also the place with the most teleportation arrays. Whether it was from the Grand Essence Sea to the Grand Essence Domain, or from other places to the Grand Essence Domain, one had to pass through Thousand Leaves Sacred City. If Ning Cheng had teleported from the Divine Sea City before, he would have had to pass through the Thousand Leaves Sacred City. Apart from him, Ba Meng, Gong Shimao, and Sun Rushuan, there was also Palace Master Luan. Palatial Lord Luan was the only primordial chaos expert among the five. Palatial Lord Luan's appearance was not inferior to Yin Yueshu's. She was also a stunning woman. However, a pair of evil almond-shaped eyes ruined her beautiful appearance, making her look somewhat cold. In fact, from the moment Ning Cheng saw Palace Master Luan in the sunken fish palace, he had not heard her speak much. Rather than saying that they were traveling together, it would be better to say that they were here to help Ning Cheng with his alchemy, as well as fulfilling their bodyguard duties. After arriving at the Thousand Leaves Sacred City, Ning Cheng became even more careful. He knew that if the person who lured him out wanted to make a move, it would definitely be in Thousand Leaves Holy City. Other than the Thousand Leaves Holy City, there was no better place to strike. Although Thousand Leaf Sacred City and Heaven Essence Sacred City were both located in the Grand Essence domain, they were still too far away from each other. Even the teleportation array between Thousand Leaves Sacred City and Heaven Essence Sacred City could only be used once a day. When Ning Cheng's group of 5 arrived at the Thousand Leaf Sacred City, the teleportation array to the Heaven Essence Sacred City had already been used once. If they wanted to use it again, they would have to wait until the next day. This night was the key. Ning Cheng understood this truth, and so did Sun Rushuan and the others. So that night, the 5 of them directly discussed Dao techniques in the inn. The night quickly passed by, but no one came to attack Ning Cheng. He did not know if it was because he did not receive the news of Ning Cheng's return, or because he knew that the bodyguards around Ning Cheng were too strong. In just one night of Dao discussion, Ning Cheng had gained a lot of benefits. Among the 5 people here, his cultivation was the lowest. Be it Sun Rushuan or Gongxi Mao, their experience and cultivation insights were not something he could compare to. Unfortunately, Palace Master Luan never spoke. As such, Ning Cheng could not obtain even the slightest benefit from her. The next day, the 5 people passed through the Thousand Leaves Sacred City's transmission array and arrived at the Heaven Essence Sacred City. Heaven Essence Sacred City had many powerhouses. Even Primordial Essence Holy Emperors would not dare to attack Ning Cheng here, because as soon as they attacked, they would immediately attract a powerful counterattack. Not only that, but it would also immediately expose their identities. Therefore, after Ning Cheng arrived at the Heaven Essence Sacred City, he was theoretically safe. After coming out of the Heaven Essence Sacred City's transmission array, Sun Rushuan and the others immediately bid farewell to Ning Cheng and said that they would visit Ning Cheng in a few days. Ning Cheng also understood what they meant. Since he came here, Ning Cheng naturally had to go to the Pill Association to heal Cheng Hotian. And when they came to see Ning Cheng in a few days, it would be the time for Ning Cheng to fulfill his promise. Ning Cheng took Ba Meng and said goodbye to the others. At the same time, he felt even more thirst for strength. With a strong alchemy ability, one could indeed find a powerful bodyguard. But that wouldn't be their own strength. A bodyguard wouldn't stay with them forever. Even if they did, it would be for the sake of benefits. Brother Ning Cheng, I didn't expect you to be a pill sage. What kind of pill sage are you? After the others left, Ba Meng asked Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng smiled. I was originally a Dao transformation pill sage, but I'll soon become a primordial Dao pill sage. The reason why Ning Cheng said this was because Ning Cheng felt sure that the Sunken Fish Palace and the Silver Dragon clan wouldn't ask him to refine Dao transformation pills. Even if they did, there wouldn't be too many Dao transformation pills. Since these 2 sects were so friendly with him, they definitely wanted him to refine primordial Dao pills. Ning Cheng believed that even if these 2 sects wanted him to refine primordial Dao pills, it wouldn't be a difficult pill like the 6-in soul pill. Although he had refined the 6-in soul pill before, Ning Cheng knew the process very well. Although he was infinitely close to becoming a primordial Dao pill sage, he still wasn't a primordial Dao pill sage. According to common reasoning, these 2 sects wanted him to refine strategic medicinal pills to improve the strength of their sections. It was most likely a Dao pill that could help one comprehend the primordial Dao realm. With the heritage of big sects like the Sunken Fish Palace and the Silver Dragon clan, after countless years of accumulation, the materials for primordial Dao pills naturally wouldn't be lacking, as long as he quoted an ordinary price such as splitting it in half. In other words, to refine a batch of medicinal pills, he would need 2 batches of divine grasses. In this way, he would have enough divine grasses to practice. Ning Cheng had said that he would soon become a primordial Dao pill sage. Unless Tsin Rushuan and Gongxi Mao had a problem with their brains, they just wanted him to refine a batch of primordial Dao pills that were extremely difficult to refine. If that was the case, he could only admit defeat. Ba Meng also smiled and didn't ask again. He had seen too many impossibilities from Ningcheng, but he still couldn't figure out how Ningcheng came out of the dark nether realm. Moreover, Ningcheng had the 7 bridges spirit technique, the 5-colored star splitter arrow, the 6-in soul pill. Brother Ba, you go find a rest stop. I'll go to the Pill Association to see Union Master Cheng. Ningcheng was worried about Cheng Hotian's injuries. After all, he had been poisoned for several years. Ningcheng naturally felt anxious. Ningcheng didn't think that Cheng Hotian would die. Ancestor Kong of the Void Star sect had been poisoned for countless years. But didn't he recover with the help of the sky extending mark bone pill? Ba Meng shook his head. Although this is the Heaven Essence Sacred City, I'll go with you. Ningcheng understood Ba Meng's meaning and felt grateful in his heart. Friends and trading partners were different. He had made a deal with Tsin Rushuan and the others, and the deal was to ensure that he could reach the Heaven Essence Sacred City. Now that he arrived at the Heaven Essence Sacred City, Tsin Rushuan and the others had nothing to do with him. Ba Meng was his friend, and no matter what, Ba Meng would also worry about his safety. Okay, let's go together. Cheng Hotian wasn't the same as the other Pill Association elders. His cave was in the Pill Association. Pill Sage Ning. As soon as Ningcheng arrived at the Pill Association, a surprised voice called out. Then a beautiful figure rushed over and bowed to Ningcheng. It's you? Congratulations on your promotion. Ningcheng also recognized this female cultivator. When he came here to take the Pill Association's qualification card, this female cultivator had led the way. Looking at this female cultivator's robes, Ningcheng understood that she was also the person in charge of this place. The female cultivator quickly spoke up. He only managed to get to where she is today because of Pill Sage Ning. Pill Sage is back. What can I do for you? Take me to see Association Master Cheng. Ningcheng nodded. Hearing that Ningcheng wanted to see Cheng Hotian, he didn't feel surprised. However, a trace of reluctance appeared on her face. Ningcheng frowned slightly. What's wrong? No, Pill Sage Ning, please come with me. He had absolute respect for Ningcheng. Since he had the ability, he shouldn't be arrogant. After passing through the Pill Sage Hall and entering the backyard, he stopped at the entrance of a cave after walking for a few minutes. She bowed to Ningcheng and said, Pill Sage Ning, this is Association Master Cheng's cave. Ningcheng nodded and touched the restrictions at the entrance of the cave. When the restrictions opened, Ningcheng didn't see Cheng Hotian. Instead, he saw a middle-stage Dao Essence Holy Emperor. Ningcheng had seen this fellow before. He had sat next to Cheng Hotian during the Pill Discussion Conference. Ningcheng felt a little puzzled. This fellow didn't seem friendly to him, so why was he in Cheng Hotian's cave? At the Pill Discussion Conference, after Le Shizhen finished refining the Essence Meridian Crossing pill, this person had been pressuring him about why he didn't refine the pill. Ningcheng only knew that this person was a high-ranking member of the Pill Union. As for his name and position, he didn't know. When this Dao Essence Holy Emperor saw Ningcheng appear, he had an indifferent expression. Pill Sage Ning, Association Master Cheng was poisoned. You really came in time. This was a sarcastic remark. Cheng Hotian had been poisoned for 2 years, yet Ningcheng had only just arrived. Ningcheng didn't care about this fellow's sarcasm. He just said to He, you can leave first. Many thanks. He could sense the unfriendly atmosphere and quickly bowed and left. Ningcheng suddenly had a feeling that Ba Meng had made the right decision to come with him. Wait. This Dao Essence Holy Emperor stopped Ba Meng, who was about to enter with Ningcheng, and said with an indifferent tone, This is the Pill Union. Ningcheng, you can go in. Those who came with you can only wait outside. Ningcheng stared coldly at this Dao Essence Holy Emperor in front of him. I'll count to 3. If you don't scram, don't blame me for making a move. You dare. This Dao Essence Holy Emperor had just said 2 words when Ningcheng brought out his long spear. Ba Meng didn't wait for Ningcheng to speak. When Ningcheng made his move, he also brought out his Sun Moon Pagoda, and a powerful aura enveloped the area. A Tao Essence Holy Emperor emitted killing intent in the Pill Union. This killing intent was instantly sensed by many experts. This mid-stage Tao Essence Holy Emperor's face turned livid. He didn't expect Ningcheng to be so daring to use a magic treasure in the Pill Union. He wasn't afraid of Ningcheng and Ba Meng, but because even if Ningcheng made a move, he wouldn't be able to touch Ningcheng. It was because of his identity as a Tao Essence Pill Sage. A Tao Essence Pill Sage's status in the Pill Union wasn't any lower than his. 3. Do it. Ningcheng only counted to 3 before stabbing out with his long spear. Ba Meng's Sun Moon Pagoda's aura instantly pressed down on this mid-stage Tao Essence Holy Emperor. Even though Ba Meng deliberately didn't let his aura leak out, the surrounding array formation restrictions made cracking sounds. It seemed like it would crack in the next moment. Ningcheng, hurry up and stop. Si Chun Qiutian's voice came in time. Chapter 1041. Ningcheng wanted to lure Qiutian over. Since Qiutian came in time and spoke, Ningcheng naturally wouldn't continue. Seeing Ningcheng stop, Ba Meng put away the Sun Moon Pagoda in time. The Tao Essence Divine Emperor, who stopped Ningcheng, could only put away his magic treasure. Ningcheng greets Association Master. Ningcheng quickly stepped forward and greeted him. Qiutian was not only an expert in the Pill Tao, but he was also the strongest in the Pill Association. At least Ningcheng couldn't see through Qiutian's cultivation. Moreover, Qiutian was an upright person, so Ningcheng had always respected him. Pill Sage Ning must have had a hard time coming back. Why did you fight with Elder Daopeng? Qiutian asked when he saw Ningcheng stop. He said that Ningcheng had a hard time coming back, because he knew why Cheng Hotian was poisoned. The person who poisoned Cheng Hotian mainly wanted to lure Ningcheng back, which meant that Ningcheng wouldn't have had a safe journey. The middle stage Tao Essence Divine Emperor called Daopeng was Kai Daopeng, the first elder of the Pill Association. His status in the Pill Association was second only to Qiutian and Cheng Hotian. When he saw Qiutian talking to Ningcheng in a friendly manner, he felt very uncomfortable. If someone else dared to fight in the Pill Association, Qiutian wouldn't have said a word and would have killed them. Facing Ningcheng, not only did the Association Master ask for the reason, but he also spoke in such a friendly manner. Ningcheng once again cupped his fists and spoke, replying to the Association head. I brought my friend back to help heal Elder Brother Hotian, but this Elder Kai Daopeng forcibly stopped me and did not allow my friend to go in to help heal Association Head Cheng. Kai Daopeng was furious, but he could only say to Qiutian, replying to Association Master, when Pill Sage Ning came back, he didn't say that he brought people to help cure Association Master Cheng. Qiutian chuckled. Since it's a misunderstanding and we're all members of the Pill Association, let's forget it. Let's go in and see Association Master Hotian. I've been trying to detoxify the bone-extending poison, but I haven't found any other way except for the sky-extending bone-extending pill. I heard that Pill Sage Ning refined the sky-extending bone-extending pill for the Void Star sect before. Is that true? Ningcheng replied, it's true. Do you still have any cloud-replenishing bone vein pills? Kai Daopeng asked eagerly. Ningcheng glanced at Kai Daopeng and spoke. No. Kai Daopeng didn't ask any more questions, but he inadvertently heaved a sigh of relief. He did not know that Ningcheng was referring to the fact that he did not have it on his hand, but there was actually half a bottle in his ring. The restriction on Cheng Hotian's room opened, but what Ningcheng did not expect was that there was another person in Cheng Hotian's room. It was a woman that Ningcheng had never seen before. But what shocked Ningcheng even more was Cheng Hotian's state. Cheng Hotian looked even more terrifying than when Ningcheng first saw Qi Shizingsing. He looked almost like a skeleton, and a purplish-black skeleton at that. Not to mention the Tao primordial Tao runes, even the deathly aura surrounded him. Why is Association Master Hotian like this? Ningcheng asked in horror. That ancestor Kong could resist for so many years, but how long had it been since Cheng Hotian? Si Chen Qiutian sighed and said, the stripe bone poison is too powerful. Hotian hasn't reached primordial chaos Tao validation, so he can't resist the power of the stripe bone poison. In a few more days, I'm afraid. Si Chen Qiutian did not continue, but everyone understood the meaning of his words. Chung Hotian wouldn't be able to hold on for long. In just a few more days he would most likely fall. Ningqing did not ask again, nor did he take out the heaven-replenishing bone vein pill for Chung Hotian to take. Instead he sighed and did not speak. After a while his gaze fell on the woman in Chung Hotian's room. "Who are you? Why are you here?" Kai Daoping immediately replied, "Association Master Cheng's poison is too severe. I brought her here to take care of Association Master Cheng." Ningqing did not ask again and said to Sichen Xiaotian, "Association Master, I want to take away Elder Brother Hotian to cure the poison. Even if there is only 1 in a billion chance, I will try my best." Before Sichen Xiaotian could speak, Kai Daoping's face sank and said, "Association Master Cheng is my Pill Union's second association master. His identity is extremely precious. How can you take him away just because you want to? If something happens, can you bear the responsibility?" Ningqing stared at Kai Daoping and sneered. "Are you the Dao Primordial Pill Saint or am I the Dao Primordial Pill Saint? If I can't bear the responsibility, can you? Association Master just said that Association Master Cheng won't be able to hold on for long. You and the people you invited have been taking care of Association Master Hotian. What about the truth?" Hearing Ningqing compare alchemy to him, Kai Daoping's face turned even uglier. However, he could not refute it because his alchemy level was not as good as Ningqing's. Association Master. Kai Daoping, who could not refute, could only look at Sichen Xiaotian. Sichen Xiaotian waved his hand and said to Ningqing, "Ningqing, take Hotian away. You and Hotian are friends, and you are also a Dao Primordial Pill Saint. I believe you. I have all the auxiliary herbs for refining the heaven-replenishing bone vein pill. Unfortunately, I only got the silk silver phoenix grass as the main material. If you need it, you can come to me at any time. No matter what the result is, I think as long as you try your best, Hotian will not blame you. After this matter, you have to focus on the 5 Realms Pill competition. Yes, many thanks, Association Master. Once I get the rest of the Dao fruits, I will come to trouble Association Master." Ningqing said with gratitude. In any case, Sichen Xiaotian sincerely wanted to help Chung Hotian. It's just that the materials for refining the heaven-replenishing bone vein pill were a bit difficult to obtain. Since the association had agreed, Kai Daoping could only watch Ningqing leave with Chung Hotian with a black face. Ningqing had a Dao Essence powerhouse by his side. Even if he was at the middle stage Dao Essence realm, he would not dare to do anything to Ningqing. "Brother Ningqing, I think there's something wrong with that Pill Association elder." After leaving the Pill Association, Ba Meng spoke up. Ningqing sneered. "There must be something wrong with him. Not only him, but the woman who took care of Elder Brother Hotian also has some problems. Elder Brother Hotian's room does not have a healing array, but a monitoring array. Does he think I don't understand the Tao of arrays?" "Brother Ning, you're back?" Jian Sanshan saw Ningqing coming to his cave, and immediately came out to greet him with joy. "Senior apprentice brother." Wu Qihong's surprised voice came out, and a moment later, Xi and Xiu also came out. Ningqing asked in doubt, "Since you two are here, what about the Heaven Essence Sacred City's pill house? Did you hire someone to look after it?" Xi and Xiu and Wu Qihong lowered their heads with guilt written all over their faces. Jian Sanshan sighed and said, "It's because I'm too weak to protect the pill house. When I heard that Association Master Sheng got poisoned by the pattern bone poison, I knew that it might have come for you. Therefore, I asked Junior Apprentice Sister Xian and Junior Apprentice Brother Qihong not to tell you about it." Ningqing immediately understood. He nodded and did not ask about this matter again. Instead, he introduced Ba Meng to everyone. Then he held up the chair in his hand and said, "This is Association Master Cheng. Let's go in. I want to heal Association Master Cheng." Ningqing had too many eyes in the rest stops, so he chose to come to Jian Sanshan's cave. He had helped Jian Sanshan rearrange the defensive array in his cave, which made it much safer than some rest stops. In a room with restrictions, Ningqing took out a sky-extending mark bone pill and put it into Chung Hotian's mouth. Back then, Ancestor Kong had used the sky-extending mark bone pill to detoxify the poison, but it had taken him a few hours. But now, in just an incense stick worth of time, a black mist overflowed from the top of Cheng Hotian's head. Then drops of black pattern bone poison dripped from his body and fell into the jade bottle prepared by Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's restrictions blocked the overflowing poisonous mist, and not even a little bit of it leaked out. Another hour passed, and the blackish-purple color on Cheng Hotian's body slowly disappeared. Even his corporeal body slowly returned to normal. Cheng Hotian opened his eyes, nodded to Ning Cheng, and closed his eyes again. A heaven and earth Dao charm aura began to condense around Cheng Hotian. Seeing this, Ning Cheng knew that Cheng Hotian was fine. He walked out of the room with Ba Meng and the others, leaving Cheng Hotian alone to detoxify. Junior apprentice sister Xian Xiao, can you tell us what happened to our pill house? Ning Cheng didn't have the time to ask Xian Xiao until now. In fact, Xian Xiao and Wu Qihong were fine, which made Ning Cheng feel relieved. As long as they were fine, everything else was secondary. Without waiting for Xian Xiao to speak, Jian Sanshan spoke up. I'm afraid this matter has nothing to do with them. After Association Master Sheng was poisoned, someone came to our pill house to sell falling scar fruits. You said that someone came to our pill house to sell falling scar fruits? Ning Cheng asked in confusion. Falling scar fruits were a Dao fruit that people would snatch from anywhere. Why would someone come to a pill house to sell it? Yes. Jian Sanshan nodded. After that person took out the falling scar fruits, the people in pill house immediately turned green with envy and started to snatch the falling scar fruits. Ning Cheng spoke up with a gloomy expression. I understand now. Did they snatch away the rest of the medicinal pills in the pill pavilion, while snatching the falling scar fruit, and then turn the pill pavilion into a mess? In the end, these people all disappeared? Jian Sanshan sighed. That's it. At that time, Xian Xiao, who was in pill house, was seriously injured. Fortunately, I arrived in time and saved Xian Xiao. I guess that this matter and the poisoning of Association Master Sheng were all done to lure you back. Yes, this time, they indeed came for you. Cheng Hotian's voice came out in time. Although he still looked a little dispirited, he no longer had the aura of the tattoo bone poison. Elder brother Hotian, you're fine. Ning Cheng stood up and spoke with joy. Cheng Hotian nodded. Brother Ning Cheng, I have to thank you this time. Fortunately, you said that there was no heaven-extending scar bone pill in the pill house. If you had told Kai Daoping that there was a heaven-extending scar bone pill, I'm afraid I wouldn't have had the chance to come here. You mean? Ning Cheng's eyes suddenly flashed with killing intent. Kai Daoping had stopped him, and he had always thought that it was because of his personal grievances with Cheng Hotian. But if Kai Daoping was the culprit behind the tattoo bone poison, then don't blame him for being impolite. A mere Kai Daoping didn't have the qualifications to covet his things. Cheng Hotian spoke up with a solemn expression. It shouldn't be just Kai Daoping. Kai Daoping and I have some conflicts, but he wouldn't go so far as to poison me. But this time he must have participated in it. I, Cheng Hotian, have reached the Dao Essence realm for many years and have seen all kinds of storms. Humph. If you want my life, then you'll have to exchange it with your life. Chapter 1042. Ning Cheng then introduced Ba Meng to Cheng Hotian. Ba Meng had admired Cheng Hotian for a long time. Hearing Ning Cheng's introduction, he quickly stood up and said, Ba Meng greets big brother Hotian. Ba Meng and Ning Cheng were friends, and Cheng Hotian had become famous tens of thousands of years earlier than him. Although both of them were at the primordial Dao realm, Ba Meng was at the early stage primordial Dao realm, while Cheng Hotian was at the full stage primordial Dao realm. Cheng Hotian quickly waved his hand and said, Ning Cheng and I are friends. You can just call me by my name. Just call me Hotian. Brother Ning Cheng, you can do the same. I estimate that in a few years, Ning Cheng's cultivation will be higher than ours. Cheng Hotian wasn't talking nonsense. Ning Cheng had seen his cultivation the first time he met him, and what was his cultivation now? How long had it been? His progress was too big. Hotian, what do you plan to do in the future? Ning Cheng didn't stand on ceremony and asked directly. Cheng Hotian sighed. The Elixir Association was my favorite place. I don't know how many years I've been in the Elixir Association. I can't even remember it clearly. I do what I like to do in the Elixir Association, researching some pill recipes. But now, I'm a little disappointed. I plan to leave the Elixir Association and go out to look for primordial chaos Dao opportunities. Ningcheng remained silent. He knew what Qing Hotian meant. That was, Qiu Tian didn't stand on his side, and was even a little biased. In fact, Qing Hotian wasn't wrong. Even Ningcheng could see that something was wrong in the room. Qiu Tian couldn't possibly not know about Kai Daoping's tricks. However, he didn't stop them. One reason was that he didn't want to get involved in the dispute between the two. The other reason was that Qing Hotian was almost hopeless, while Kai Daoping was the mainstay of the Elixir Association. The association master focuses on the alchemy Dao and rarely asks about other things. I'm also a person who focuses on the alchemy Dao. I really don't want to waste my life in this kind of intrigue. Seeing Ningcheng remain silent, Qing Hotian explained. Ningcheng suddenly thought of the 5 Realms Pill competition. Then can you participate in the 5 Realms Pill competition with us? Qing Hotian shook his head and said, that's absolutely impossible. The 5 Realms Pill competition is already extremely difficult to take. The guild master has to bear a certain amount of responsibility for bringing you along. If I were to be included, it would definitely not be allowed. Ningcheng once again turned silent. He knew that he could not help even a little bit in this matter. Even if he didn't go to the 5 Realms Pill competition, Qing Hotian wouldn't be able to go to the Great Change Realm. Brother Hotian, do you know who plotted against Ningcheng? Ba Meng broke the silence and asked. Qing Hotian's face turned solemn. I suspect that it has something to do with the Star-Stepping Tower Master. When the Star-Stepping Tower Master first arrived in Heaven Essence Sacred City, she looked very powerful. I even saw her fight. The woman in my room has a cultivation method similar to that of the Star-Stepping Tower Master. Ningcheng immediately thought of the black-robed woman with the veil over her face from the Star-Stepping Tower. This woman most likely came from Earth. If she really came from Earth, it would be like stabbing a gun in the back when 2 people from the same hometown met. In any case, you have to be careful of Star-Stepping Tower Master. Not only was this woman's cultivation extremely high, but she was also extremely scheming. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to control the first pavilion in Heaven Essence Sacred City. Qing Hotian saw Ningcheng pondering over it, and reminded him again. I understand. Ningcheng nodded. He had never underestimated this Star-Stepping Tower Master. At this moment, the restriction at the door moved again. Ningcheng saw Tsun Rushuan from the Sunken Fish Palace at the door and said, she came to ask me for alchemy. Xian Xiao, take her to the pill room next door. Helping the Sunken Fish Palace and the Silver Dragon clan with alchemy was very important. It was related to whether Ningcheng could advance to the Dao Essence Pill Saint realm. A Dao Essence Pill Saint not only needed a thorough understanding of the Dao of alchemy, but also a deep understanding of the Dao laws of heaven and earth. In other words, if one didn't even understand what Dao Essence was, it would be a joke to refine Dao Essence pills. Ningcheng was a Dao sculpting holy emperor. The reason why he could refine the 6 Soul pill, apart from his understanding of the Dao of returning to one during the alchemy conference, was because of the bestowing lawless fruit. Without the bestowing lawless fruit, Ningcheng felt sure that even if his understanding of the Dao of returning to one reached a higher level, he wouldn't be able to refine Dao Essence pills. Now that Tsun Rushuan came, Ningcheng wanted to see what kind of pill she would refine. If it was a rare Dao Essence pill that was difficult to refine, he would still refuse. It wasn't that he didn't keep his promise, but that he couldn't refine it. Only by refining a large number of Dao Essence pills would he be able to accept this order. Tsun Rushuan felt very happy. Ningcheng wanted to meet her alone in the pill room. Apparently, he wanted to help her refine pills. I wonder if Association Master Cheng is feeling better. Although Tsun Rushuan wanted to get straight to the point, she had to ask Ningcheng about Qing Hotian first. She naturally knew that Ningcheng had taken away Qing Hotian from the Pill Association. Ningcheng smiled. Association Master Cheng is still recuperating, but I believe he will recover. I don't know what kind of pill Senior Apprentice Sister Ru Xian wants me to refine this time. The sunken fish palace has helped me a lot. Senior apprentice Sister Ruxian, feel free to ask. That's what I wanted you to say, Sun Rushuan said with a smile. I want to refine some Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pills, and some Heavenly Essence Pills. Ningqing breathed a sigh of relief. These two kinds of pills were Dao Essence Pills, not the kind that were very difficult to refine. However, the main Dao fruit of the Heavenly Essence Pill was really hard to find. Although the Heavenly Essence Pill wasn't the most difficult to refine, it was one of the most valuable Dao Essence Pills. The Heavenly Essence Pill was a Dao pill that could allow Dao Transformation Divine Emperors to comprehend Dao Essence Dao runes. It was so precious that it could make any first-step Dao Validation Divine Emperor go crazy. Even if a Heavenly Essence Pill could only give Dao Transformation Divine Emperors a slight chance to comprehend Dao Essence Divine Emperors, this slight chance was enough to make people go crazy. The Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pill was simpler. It could only enhance one's comprehension of Ice Attribute Divine abilities. Although the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pill was a Dao Essence Dao pill, Dao Transformation Divine Emperors could also use it. This kind of elixir was the best for Ningqing to practice with. I wonder how many cauldrons of elixirs Senior Sister Rushuan has? Ningqing asked. Sun Rushuan said in a solemn tone. Over the countless years, the Sunken Fish Palace has only found 5 cauldrons of Heavenly Essence Pills, and more than a dozen cauldrons of Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pills. As for the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pills, it doesn't matter if Pill Sage Ning fails a little. Ningqing understood what Sun Rushuan meant. Even the Sunken Fish Palace only had 5 cauldrons of Heavenly Essence Pills. Failure was not allowed, but Sun Rushuan didn't say it out loud. As for the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pills, it didn't matter if Pill Sage Ning failed a few cauldrons. The Sunken Fish Palace was one of the top 10 sections. Such a big sect only had 5 cauldrons of Heavenly Essence Pills after so many years. This showed how precious the Heavenly Essence Pills Dao fruit was. Ningqing said calmly, "It's impossible not to fail. I can't guarantee that I won't fail. Of course, I won't blame the Sunken Fish Palace for these failures." Sun Rushuan sighed. How could she not understand what Ningqing meant? That is, if the Sunken Fish Palace escorted me to the Heaven Essence Sacred City, I would help you refine elixirs. However, I would still have to pay for the elixirs. In case I fail, it would be the payment. It wasn't that Sun Rushuan didn't think that Ningqing wouldn't ask for payment, but it was just a thought. Even she didn't believe that a primordial Dao alchemy saint wouldn't ask for payment. I can make the decision to give more Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pills to Pill Sage Ning, but there are only 5 cauldrons of Heavenly Essence Pills. Sun Rushuan said with some lack of confidence. Ningqing said calmly, ordinary alchemy masters get paid 50% for helping others refine elixirs. Pill Sage gets paid 60% for helping others refine elixirs. I'm very grateful to Senior Sister Ru Xian of the Sunken Fish Palace for help, so I only want 40%. It's the same for any elixir. It was absolutely impossible to help the Sunken Fish Palace refine elixirs for free. Even if the Sunken Fish Palace helped him a lot, Ningqing wouldn't dare agree. He was still counting on the materials from the Sunken Fish Palace to practice. How could it be free? If it was free, who would pay for the broken elixirs? Sun Rushuan knew that Ningqing's offer was definitely a fair price. An ordinary alchemy saint wanted 60% elixirs, and that was for an alchemy saint below the primordial Dao realm. Ningqing was a primordial Dao alchemy saint. According to this price, it wouldn't be too much for Ningqing to ask for 70% elixirs. In fact, Ningqing only asked for 40% elixirs. If this wasn't a good price, then what was? Sun Rushuan sighed at the wealth of Pill Sage Ning while taking out a ring and handing it to Ningqing. According to Pill Sage Ning, there are 20 cauldrons of elixirs inside. 5 cauldrons of Heavenly Essence Pills and 15 cauldrons of Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pills. Ningqing took the ring and said, "Okay then, Senior Sister Ru Xian, please come back in a month to collect the elixirs." After sending Sun Rushuan away, Ningqing didn't immediately go into seclusion to refine elixirs. Instead, he waited for Gong Shimao. Gong Shimao of the Silver Dragon clan didn't make Ningqing wait for long. Almost an hour after Sun Rushuan left, he arrived at the Sword Three Mountains cave. I wonder what elixir Brother Gong wants to refine. Ningqing couldn't wait for Gong Shimao to refine a bunch of heavenly essence pills. That would be the most beneficial thing for him. Gong Shimao didn't even bargain. He directly took out a ring and handed it to Ningqing. Pill Sage Ning, because the sect master is in seclusion, I can't get the top-notch materials. I'm only refining some 9 lives fire dragon pills this time. Gong Shimao only wanted to refine elixirs for himself, so Ningqing didn't care about it. What puzzled him was that Gong Shimao wanted to refine 9 lives fire dragon pills. The 9 lives fire dragon pill was indeed a primordial Dao pill, but it was a healing elixir. Only fire-attributed primordial Dao emperors would use 9 lives fire dragon pills to repair their foundations. Seeing Ningqing's puzzled gaze, Gong Shimao said helplessly, "My main spirit root is fire-attributed, but something went wrong with my cultivation. If I don't repair my foundation, my life would end here. Being able to meet Pill Saint Ning is my greatest fortune." Facing Ningqing, he didn't have anything to hide. Ningqing was a primordial Dao pill sage. If he asked Ningqing to refine 9 lives fire dragon pills and Ningqing didn't know about the problem with his foundation, then Ningqing, a primordial Dao pill sage, would definitely have a problem. Ningqing put away the ring and nodded. "Okay, Brother Gong can come to me in a month to collect the elixirs. I'll also take 40% of the elixirs." Chapter 1043. The first pill Ningqing refined was the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pill. Relatively speaking, the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pill was a relatively easy primordial Dao pill to refine. Moreover, there were a lot of these medicinal pills, about 15 batches. Ningqing had even refined the 6-in Soul pill. Moreover, when he refined the 6-in Soul pill, his understanding of the Tao of alchemy grew even more thorough. He even integrated the Tao of alchemy into the Tao of returning to one. The first half of the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pill was very easy for Ningqing. He integrated the divine grasses and Tao fruits, purified the Tao charm laws of the Tao fruits, and refined the impurities. Just an hour later, Ningqing began to condense the Tao charm of laws. The most important aspect of the primordial Tao pill was the integration of nomological Tao runes. This was also the reason why it was easier to refine Tao pills with a higher cultivation level. The higher one's cultivation level, the more thorough one's understanding of the various laws of heaven and earth would be. Naturally, it would be easier for one to integrate the nomological Tao runes. Pill saints with low cultivation like Ningqing, who only had a Tao sculpting cultivation, would have to rely purely on their understanding of the Tao of alchemy and their control over the Tao charm of the Tao fruit to condense the Tao essence Tao fruit. In the past, when Ningqing refined the 6-in Soul pill, it was because he managed to capture the 6-in fruit's Tao charm. However, he didn't have the ability to retain it, which led to him falling into a predicament during the process of refining the pill. At that time, he had the bestowing lawless fruit, which he used to forcibly retain the 6-in fruit's Tao charm. Not only did he successfully refine the 6-in Soul pill, but he also managed to improve his alchemy Tao to the next level. Now Ningqing once again found himself in the same predicament. The main Tao fruits of the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pill were the Supreme Palace Tao fruit and the Heavenly Ice Flower. At this moment, Ningqing also managed to capture the Tao charm laws of the Supreme Minute Tao fruit and the Tao charm laws of the Heavenly Ice Flower. However, he couldn't leave behind the Tao charm laws of the 2 Tao fruits. He didn't have the ability to integrate the laws of these 2 Tao fruits into the Supreme Palace Heavenly Ice Pill. But now he didn't have the bestowing lawless fruit's help. Even if Ningqing had the bestowing lawless fruit, he wouldn't use it to refine the Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pill. Ningqing rarely used pill arts in alchemy, but today he had no choice but to use pill arts in alchemy. All sorts of alchemy Tao runes were sent into the cauldron, and the Supreme Essence Tao fruit laws were forcefully fused. Catcha. Just as the Tao fruit's laws integrated into the Tao core, a catcha sound emerged from the pill furnace. Then, all kinds of laws dissipated. No matter how capable Ningqing was, he couldn't reverse the situation. The first batch of Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pills had failed. Ningqing took in a deep breath and closed his eyes for more than an hour before cleaning the pill furnace, and taking out the materials for the second batch of Supreme Star Heavenly Ice pills. 2 hours later, Ningqing once again failed to integrate the Dao fruit laws. The second batch of Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice pills was also wasted. Ningqing stood up, but did not continue to refine the third batch of pills. He was sure that even if he refined a third batch of pills, the final result would still be failure. His alchemy standards were sufficient, and he had a sufficient understanding of the Dao rune's laws of the primordial Dao pill. He even had the nomological ability to grasp the Dao fruit. His only regret was that his cultivation was too low, and his understanding of the heavenly Dao was too weak. Perhaps he could easily refine a Dao transformation Dao pill, but the primordial Dao pill's heaven-earth law level was far stronger than the Dao transformation Dao pill. If he wanted to refine the Dao transformation Dao pill, he would probably have to advance to the Dao birth divine emperor stage. With about 5 months left before the 5 realms pill competition, Ningqing decided to look for an opportunity to advance to the Dao birth realm in the Grand Essence Sea's dragon washing pool. He had underestimated the primordial Dao pill. Given his current cultivation level, no matter how strong his understanding of the alchemy Dao was, it would be difficult for him to refine the primordial Dao pill. After greeting Ba Meng and the others, Ningqing went directly to the place where Cin Rushuan and Gongxi Mao lived. He bluntly said that he was afraid that the 1-month deadline was too short. He hoped that the deadline could be pushed back a few months, preferably before the 5 realms pill competition. Cin Rushuan and Gongxi Mao had something to ask of Ningqing, so they naturally wouldn't clash with Ningqing over a few months. After settling down, Ningqing immediately went to the Pill Association's Sichen Qiutian's cave residence. Alchemy Sage Ning, how is Guild Master Ho Tian? Sichen Qiutian saw Ningqing come over and immediately asked about Cheng Ho Tian. Ningqing quickly saluted and said, "Brother Ho Tian is fine. He is now recovering." Ningqing didn't lie to Sichen Qiutian. Sichen Qiutian sighed and said, "Say hello to Ho Tian on my behalf." He didn't continue to ask about Cheng Ho Tian. "Union Master Sichen, I came here today to tell Union Master something." Ningqing did not speak about Cheng Ho Tian anymore. Sichen Qiutian nodded and regained his calm demeanor. "I naturally know that Pill Sage Ning has many matters to attend to. You wouldn't come here to discuss pills with me. In fact, I really want to discuss pills with Pill Sage Ning. When I'm free in the future, I'll definitely explore the Tao of Alchemy with the Association Master. This time, I'm going to leave the Heaven Essence Sacred City and go out to train for a few months." "You're going out to train?" Sichen Qiutian looked at Ningqing in doubt. If someone said that Ningqing had nothing to do with Cheng Ho Tian's poisoning, he would not believe it. Ningqing must have known about this matter. But even after knowing about this matter, Ningqing still wanted to go out to train. Wouldn't that be equivalent to deliberately courting death? Without waiting for Ningqing to answer, Sichen's Qiutian spoke up again. "Pill Sage Ning, it's only been a few months, and the 5 realms pill competition is about to begin. If you go out to train now, I'm afraid it will delay the competition." Ningqing answered honestly, "I was lucky to refine the 6-in soul pill last time. In fact, my success rate in refining primordial Dao pills is still too low. It's mainly because my cultivation level is too low. I want to use these few months to advance to the Dao birth realm. If I can advance to the Dao birth realm, I'll have a greater chance of refining primordial Dao pills. Otherwise, even if I participate in the 5 realms pill competition, I'll lose more than I win." This was simply Ningqing trying to paste gold on his face. What did he mean by the success rate was too low? His success rate was simply 0. However, Ningqing didn't lie about his last sentence. If he couldn't even refine primordial Dao pills in the 5 realms pill competition, it would be impossible for him to get a ranking. Sichen Qiutian fell silent. Ningqing had yet to reach the full circle Dao sculpting realm. In a few months, it would be even more difficult to advance from the peak Dao sculpting realm to the full circle Dao sculpting realm, and then advance to the Dao birth realm. As for Ningqing's words about the low success rate of refining primordial Dao pills, and not getting a ranking in the 5 realms pill competition, Sichen Qiutian knew that it was a fact. Because of this, he had made an exception and asked Ningqing to participate in the 5 realms pill competition. After all, among the 6 people participating in the competition, Only Ning Cheng had refined primordial Dao pills. If Ning Cheng wasn't confident, then the rest of them would go in vain. After hesitating for a long time, Sichen Xiaotian said, Ning Cheng, you should know that, given your current realm, it's not very likely for you to advance to the Dao Birth realm before going to the 5 realms pill competition. Sichen Xiaotian's words were tactful. Many people couldn't complete the process of advancing from the peak Dao sculpting realm to the Dao Birth realm without tens of thousands of years. Some people couldn't make it in their entire lives. It would be strange if Ning Cheng could complete it in a few months. I know, but I'm not willing to give it a try, Ning Cheng said with a bow again. Apart from refining pills for Tsin Rushuan and Gong Shimao, Ning Cheng wanted to find an opportunity to reach the Dao Birth realm. The reward for the first place in the 5 realms pill competition was also crucial. If he couldn't advance to the Dao Birth realm, and couldn't refine primordial Dao pills, it would be a waste to go. Sichen Xiaotian stared at Ning Cheng for a while before standing up and walking around his house for a full incense stick worth of time without speaking. Ning Cheng still had a lot of respect for Sichen Xiaotian. When he was about to fail in refining the 6 soul pill and condensing the Dao fruit law, Sichen Xiaotian gave him some pointers. Therefore, Ning Cheng didn't speak while Sichen Xiaotian wandered around the house. After half an hour, Sichen Xiaotian finally said with determination, Ning Cheng, I'll take you to a place. Let's go now. Although Sichen Xiaotian didn't say where they were going, Ning Cheng didn't ask anything. Half a month later, Sichen Xiaotian took Ning Cheng to a barren sea in the Grand Essence Sea. If they went somewhere else, Ning Cheng might have objected. However, Ning Cheng had already planned to come to the Grand Essence Sea's dragon cleansing pool. Therefore, when Sichen Xiaotian brought him here, Ning Cheng didn't say anything. Ning Cheng, do you know which sect is the most mysterious among the 10 major sects? Standing on the sea, Sichen Xiaotian suddenly asked an irrelevant question. Ning Cheng replied, It should be the Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan, right? I heard that people from the Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan never come out. Moreover, their sect is in the Grand Essence Sea. At this point, Ning Cheng suddenly thought of something and looked at Sichen Xiaotian in doubt. Sichen Xiaotian nodded. Ning Cheng, you guessed it. The place I brought you to is the Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan. The Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan owed my master a favor, and said that they could help me 3 times. My master used it twice, but my master left one for me. I never used it. Association Master, what do you mean? Ning Cheng suddenly understood why Sichen Xiaotian changed calling him Pill Sage Ning to Ning Cheng. It was because he regarded him as one of his own. Sichen Xiaotian showed a slight smile. Yes, I intend to use it on you this time. As for your wish, the Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan can definitely help you achieve it. Moreover, in the entire Grand Essence realm, perhaps only the Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan can help you achieve it. Ning Cheng quickly said, Association Master Sichen, I can't afford it. If I advance to the Dao Birth realm later, it won't affect me too much. At most, I won't be able to participate in the 5 realms pill competition. Sichen Xiaotian shook his head. It might not affect you much, but it would affect me too much. In this 5 realms pill competition, you are the only pill sage who can get a place. If you don't go, it would be the same for me. Rather than helping you, it would be better to say that I'm helping myself. Ning Cheng wasn't a fool. How could he say that he was helping Sichen Xiaotian in this matter? After listening to Sichen Xiaotian's words, he didn't refuse it again. Instead, he bowed and said, Okay, if Association Master needs my help in the future, this Ning Cheng will never refuse. Sichen Xiaotian nodded in satisfaction and said, Then let's go in now. This was what he wanted to hear from Ning Cheng. He was also optimistic about Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's promise might be even more important than the help from the Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan. Chapter 1044. Sister Chen Xiaotian took out a transfer jade card and activated it. A ray of light that looked exactly the same as the surrounding seawater wrapped around him and Ning Cheng and instantly teleported them away. Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. The Tao of array formations was the same as the Tao of cultivation. There was no end to it. This transmission array was much more sophisticated than the one used to enter the secret bazaar. He couldn't even see through it, let alone set it up. Sure enough, the stronger one was, the more one would know how weak they were. Moments later, he and Xiao Tian landed on a circular stone platform. Xichen Xiao Tian waved the teleportation jade token in his hand and laughed at himself. This teleportation token can only be used 3 times. It's useless. Where did you two come from? A sudden voice arrived, and then Ningqing saw a man with a black fringe on his head appear next to the stone platform. Xichen Xiao Tian handed the transfer jade token to the man and said, Pilsec Xichen Xiao Tian has specially come to pay a visit to the mysterious crossing clan. The man nodded. Please follow me. Ningqing and Xichen Xiao Tian followed behind this man, but Ningqing did not sweep out with his spiritual consciousness. With Ningqing's experience, he didn't need to sweep out at all. This place was surrounded by array formations and restrictions. Even if he swept out with his spiritual consciousness, he would not be able to detect anything. At this time, Ningqing wasn't even sure if he was still in the Grand Essence Sea. After walking for an incense's time, the man stopped in front of a stone door. He bowed and said, Alchemy Sec Xichen Xiao Tian has brought my mysterious travel clan's teleportation token to visit. After a long while, a voice came from inside the stone door. There's actually a successor in the alchemy school? Let them in. Yes. The man returned the jade token to Xiao Tian. Please enter. Just as Xiao Tian took the jade token, the stone door suddenly opened. Ningqing followed Xichen Xiao Tian through the door, and suddenly felt a bit stunned. This was not a room, but a huge open public square. The public square was simply too big. Ningqing's eyes could not even see the end of it. Ningqing secretly muttered in his heart, this was most likely a magical weapon. Otherwise it would not have this kind of effect. In the middle of the square, there was a black-haired man. Half of the black-haired man's chest was exposed. He looked like a Shaolin monk. In addition to this, the most attractive thing to Ningqing was that this black-haired man had a golden fringe on his forehead. The man who led the way earlier also had a fringe on his forehead. However, the fringe on his forehead wasn't golden, but black. It seemed like the identity of the mysterious crossing ancient clan was determined by the color of their foreheads. As for this man's cultivation, Ningqing found that he couldn't see through it. He only knew that it was definitely not any lower than Xichen's Xiao Tian. You're Chang Qinxing's disciple? The gold-rimmed man's gaze fell on Xichen Xiao Tian. As for Ningqing, who stood beside Xichen Xiao Tian, he completely ignored him. Xiao Tian bowed. Yes, my master is Chang Qinxing. The man fell silent. After a while he asked, I heard that your master died. Is that true? Ningqing secretly thought to himself, this person's words were really direct. In order to pursue the pinnacle of the great Tao, my master has left Grand Plainness for a long time. I don't know the details. Before my master left, he told me that if I encountered any difficult problems in the future, I could take this jade card to the mysterious crossing ancient clan to find Senior Jean Malong. Xichen Xiao Tian lowered his posture, and once again handed over the jade card in his hand. The man nodded and took the jade card. After looking at it for a while he said, I'm Jean Malong. Your cultivation isn't any worse than mine, so you don't have to call me senior. What did you come here to ask for? Xichen Xiao Tian was the head of the Pill Union. The reason why he respected Jean Malong wasn't because of Jean Malong's status or identity, but because Jean Malong was a friend of his master. Therefore, he naturally had to address him as a senior. Now that Jean Malong said that he didn't need to address him as a senior, Xichen Xiao Tian naturally wouldn't be pretentious and directly said, Many thanks, Dao friend Jean. I came here today to request to cultivate on the annual ring for 3 months. You want to cultivate on the annual ring? After Jean Malong heard Xichen Xiao Tian's words, his eyes flashed. He stared at Xichen Xiao Tian and spoke with a cold tone. Xichen Xiao Tian's expression didn't change at all. He pointed at Ningqing and said calmly, It's not that I want to cultivate on the annual ring, but he wants to cultivate on the annual ring for 3 months. Jean Malong's gaze then fell on Ningqing. After a while he frowned and said, He only has a Dao sculpting cultivation, and he wants to cultivate on the annual ring? Do you know the consequences of not being able to control the flow of Dao charm when cultivating on the annual ring? I know. Dao friend Jean, can I ask if he can cultivate on the annual ring? If he can't, we will leave immediately. We won't make things difficult for you. Sikhen Tian spoke in a tone that was neither overbearing nor servile. This token was given by the mysterious fairy clan. If Sikhen Tian couldn't do anything even with the token, then the mysterious fairy clan's reputation would be completely ruined. Jean Malong clearly understood Sikhen Tian's meaning. He showed a faint smile and said, I can't decide on the annual ring alone. Wait a moment. I'll give you an answer after I ask. With that, Jean Malong turned around and left. Ningqing saw him turn around, and his figure disappeared without a trace. Although he knew that it was just a trick, Ningqing could only watch enviously because he couldn't arrange such an array formation. Union Master, what's an annual ring? Ningqing asked. Sikhen Tian looked in the direction where Jean Malong disappeared and said, The annual ring is the mysterious fairy clan's #1 treasure. It's just a tree. This tree is made up of annual rings. With every annual ring you advance, the passage of time inside doubles compared to the passage of time outside. Ningqing asked in surprise, Doesn't that mean that if I can enter the 10th annual ring and cultivate inside for 10 years, only 1 year will pass outside? Sikhen Tian replied with a solemn tone. That's right. If you want to advance to the Dao birth realm in a few months, I can't think of a better place than the annual ring of the mysterious fairy clan. Ningqing suddenly recalled what Song Wei had said about the world of law in the void and asked in doubt. I've heard that there are many world of law in the void, including the world of law of time. Once the sect obtains this world of law of time, it can turn it into a holy land for cultivation. In other words, if you cultivate inside for many years, only 1 year will pass outside. The specific time difference is calculated based on the world of law of time. Is the annual ring the same as the world of law of time? Sikhen Tian shook his head. The world of law of time you mentioned actually exists in the Grand Essence realm. The 9 Revolutions Sacred Dao Pond and the River Luo Sacred Sect have such a world of law of time. If 10 years pass inside, only 1 year will pass outside. However, this world of law of time is completely different from the annual ring because the world of law of time lacks the laws of heaven and earth's Dao charm. Before reaching Dao confirming realm, this world of law of time can save cultivation time. Once one reaches Dao confirming realm, the effects of cultivating in this world of law of time would weaken significantly because of the lack of Dao charm insights. However, annual rings are different. Annual rings are ancient supreme treasures. Even if a Dao confirming realm holy emperor cultivates in it, not only would their comprehension of Dao charm not weaken, but it would also become stronger than outside. Because of this, the ancient fairy clan is a top-notch clan. Of course, the world of law of time also contains the Dao charm of heaven and earth. However, this is no longer a world of law of time, but a supreme treasure not far from the annual ring. Annual rings are so powerful? Then why doesn't the ancient fairy clan come out? Ningqing suddenly thought of something. If he had an annual ring in his mysterious yellow bead, wouldn't he be invincible when cultivating? Sikhen Tian sighed. Everything has its pros and cons. Annual rings are strong, but once someone with a weak Dao insight enters the annual ring and crosses the line of the annual ring that they can't control, they would quickly die of old age due to the loss of Dao charm, and turn into a pile of yellow soil to nourish the annual ring tree. I heard that more than half of the genius cultivators in the ancient fairy clan die to annual rings every year. Ningqing finally understood the consequences of not being able to control the annual ring's Dao charm. It turned out that the consequences were death. At this point, Sikhen Tian looked at Ningqing with a solemn expression and said, Ningqing, since you can refine primordial Dao pills, it means that your control and understanding of your Dao is far stronger than ordinary Dao sculpting holy emperors. Moreover, I've felt your Dao before, and your Dao far surpasses mine. Because of this, I brought you here. I believe that you can reach the 8th annual ring. 3 months have passed outside, and you have cultivated for 2 years in the 8th annual ring. In 2 years, I believe that you should be able to advance to the Dao birth realm. If you can't advance to the Tao birth realm, then let's just go. Thank you, Union Master. Ningqing thanked him again. He was sure that Sikhen Qiu didn't want to harm him, but sincerely wanted to help him. When he was refining pills, his alchemy Tao would fuse with his returning to one Tao. So Sikhen Qiu would definitely capture his Tao aura. Because of this, Sikhen Qiu believed that he could reach the 8th annual ring. Sikhen Qiu smiled. After reaching the 8th annual ring, you can't take another step forward no matter what. Remember, even if you're sure that you can move forward, don't move forward. Everyone who perishes under the annual ring is confident that nothing will go wrong, but in the end, something went wrong. If a cultivator can't control his greed, then his achievements will stop at his greed. Ningqing smiled but didn't answer. Sikhen Qiu words were not wrong. If one couldn't control their greed, they might die because of it. However, it wasn't Sikhen Qiu who decided which step he could reach, but he himself. If he thought that he could reach the 9th annual ring, he naturally wouldn't stay at the 8th annual ring. If he thought that he could only reach the 7th annual ring, he wouldn't have gone to the 8th annual ring like Sikhen Qiu had said. Fortunately, Jin Malong appeared again and said to Sikhen Qiu, "You can wait here. This Taoist who wants to cultivate his annual ring will come with me." Ningqing, remember my words. Your steps must stop at your Tao heart. Sikhen Qiu reminded Ningqing again. Ningqing bowed and said, "Rest assured, Union Master. My steps are in my heart." When Jin Malong heard Ningqing's words, he showed a hint of appreciation and turned around again. Ningqing followed Jin Malong and took a step forward before disappearing from the public square. Chapter 1045. Ningqing followed behind Jin Malong, but after taking a few steps, Jin Malong suddenly stopped. Ningqing looked around again and found that the huge public square had long since disappeared, and he found himself standing on a piece of verdant turf. A dozen meters ahead, there was a giant tree. Ningqing stared at the giant tree in front of him, and a strange feeling rose in his heart. Since becoming a starry sky cultivator, Ningqing had seen many strange things. To be honest, this was the first time he had seen a transparent tree. Ningqing did not know how thick this tree was. He only knew that he could not see the opposite side of the tree, nor could he see the left and right sides. He could only see a slight arc in front of him, which was just a small part of the transparent tree. Although he said that this tree was transparent, Ningqing could clearly see what was inside the tree. The things that Ningqing could see, in fact, were only circular areas. Ningqing thought to himself, the tree rings on earth. He wondered if it was because of this tree, because the rings on this transparent tree were almost the same as the tree rings on a tree. He could see the rings on the outside, but he could not see anything inside. Looking up, he could vaguely see some transparent branches extending out, but he could not see the top. Tree rings. This tree was called a tree ring, which was really appropriate. What puzzled Ningqing was that when his eyes fell on this tree, he could not feel even the slightest Tao charm aura. As for his spiritual consciousness, it disappeared after sweeping through this transparent tree. Completely useless. This is the tree ring. Go inside and cultivate. Remember, 3 months have passed outside, and you must come out. As for the time, you can calculate it yourself. Jin Malong spoke very simply. After saying this sentence, he turned around and left, not giving Ningqing a chance to ask a single question. Ningqing did not care about it. He walked to the edge of the outermost ring mark of the tree. Although his mysterious yellow bead had not been completely perfected, it could still mobilize the origin aura for cultivation. Now that he used the tree ring and the origin aura to cultivate, how far could he go after 3 months? No matter how far he could go, Ningqing would not miss this opportunity. He lifted his foot and stepped into the first ring mark of the tree ring. A powerful force rushed over. This force could clearly be felt, but it was invisible. Ningqing felt that the grand Tao charm in his body was about to dissipate under the impact of this aura. Then it followed this aura and flowed into the wheel marks of the growth rings. An ancient aura swept over, causing Ningqing's entire body to tremble. He stopped in his tracks and suddenly felt a kind of enlightenment in his heart. That was not a comprehension of the great Tao, but a comprehension of the laws of time. He finally understood the danger of the tree rings. Once he failed to restrain his Tao runes of the Great Tao, his Tao runes of the Great Tao would flow into the tree rings along with the Tao runes of the tree rings. In the end, his entire body and soul would dissipate into nothingness. The mysterious yellow formless cultivation method quickly adapted to the changes in the surrounding Tao charm laws, allowing Ning Cheng's Tao charm to stabilize and no longer change along with the changes in the Tao charm within his annual rings. The moment Ning Cheng stabilized his Tao, he felt the endless rich spiritual qi and the flawless Tao charm of heaven and earth. Not only was the heaven and earth Tao law perfect, but the surrounding vitality was also extremely dense. Sure enough, it was a tree. If it wasn't a tree, how could it have such a rich Tao charm and vitality? Ning Cheng stood in the first circle of the wheel marks for a full hour before slowly turning his head back. The scenery behind him had long since disappeared, and the grassland he had just come from had also disappeared without a trace. An hour later, Ning Cheng slowly walked through the first circle of the wheel marks and stepped into the second. The spiritual qi became denser, the vitality became more intense, the Tao charm flowed more violently, and the laws of heaven and earth became more perfect. Apart from the moment of discomfort, Ning Cheng's mysterious yellow formless quickly integrated with the surrounding Tao charm laws. Ning Cheng once again adapted to the aura that impacted the foundation of Ning Cheng's Tao charm. Ning Cheng's eyes flashed with an indescribable surprise. He had once felt this kind of cultivation feeling in the dragon cleansing pool. However, it was completely different from the dragon cleansing pool. The dragon cleansing pool targeted his corporeal body, while this place focused on perfecting and comprehending the Tao. The world was vast, and it really wasn't something he could understand. He had thought that he had the mysterious yellow bead, which was already a stroke of luck. But who knew that there were many things in this world? Although they weren't as good as the mysterious yellow bead, they were still treasures of heaven and earth. He knew about the dragon cleansing pool, the life rings, and the reincarnation pool of the 9 revolving sacred Tao pond. But how many more did he not know? The longer time passed, the clearer Ning Cheng felt his perception of the laws of time. Although he was reluctant to leave the second circle of the life ring, he still walked out of the second circle and stepped into the third circle. He only had 3 months. Every time he moved forward, he would gain 3 more months, and the time Tao charm aura in the life ring would become more distinct. Unconsciously, Ning Cheng forgot about Si Chen Chiu Tian's words about stopping at the Tao heart. Even if it was him, he just wanted to move forward 1 more circle, which would give him 3 more months. In a simple cave in the mysterious crossing ancient clan's sacred land, a white-haired old man sat cross-legged on an ancient praying mat. His upper body also revealed half of his chest. However, the half of his chest that was exposed, apart from his ribs, only had a layer of brown skin. Did he enter the life ring? The old man suddenly asked. Jean Malong's voice and figure appeared in the cave at the same time. Yes, clan head. He's already in the life ring. I estimate that he should be able to enter the 6th circle in 3 months. Si Chen Chiu Tian, like Ning Cheng, also didn't know about the life ring. Si Chen Chiu Tian thought that as long as he reached the strength to cultivate in the 8th circle of the life ring, he could directly enter the 8th circle of the life ring and go into secluded cultivation. In fact, every time the life ring moved forward, it took a lot of time. To enter the next circle of the life ring, one must perfectly match one's Tao laws with the Tao charm flow of the life ring. Only then could one enter the next circle. Otherwise, the changes in the flow of time, and the changes in the Tao charm laws of the life ring could tear a person to pieces. The old man nodded. Tao sculpting realm, it's not bad to enter the 6th circle in 3 months. Sigh. The old man gave a long sigh in the end. Jean Malong naturally understood what the clan had meant. Ever since the Great Change, the mysterious crossing ancient clan went into seclusion. The mysterious crossing ancient clan went into seclusion not because they were afraid of trouble, but because they wanted to accumulate power. After all, the mysterious crossing ancient clan had lost a lot of power. But after so many years, the mysterious crossing ancient clan didn't become stronger because of seclusion. Not even a few geniuses appeared. Occasionally, some geniuses would either fall in the life ring, vanish from the crowd for other reasons, or their Tao would collapse. But now, Sichin Qiutian brought a Tao sculpting divine emperor to the mysterious crossing ancient clan to ask for the life ring to cultivate. One had to know that although the mysterious crossing ancient clan went into seclusion, there were still a few disciples who hid their identities outside. A mere Tao sculpting divine emperor wasn't allowed to leave the mysterious crossing ancient clan. A Tao sculpting divine emperor, who wasn't allowed to leave the mysterious crossing ancient clan, came to the mysterious crossing ancient clan and asked to enter the life ring to cultivate. Jin Malong didn't know how to comfort the clan head, so he also fell silent. Time slowly passed. After an unknown amount of time, the white-haired clan head suddenly asked, "Malong, is it inappropriate for the mysterious crossing ancient clan to go into seclusion?" Jin Malong hesitated for a moment before saying, "To walk out of the mysterious crossing ancient clan, one has to at least be in the primordial Tao realm. As a result, not many people can walk out of the mysterious crossing ancient clan. On the contrary, many outstanding disciples fall in the life ring. The life ring is the mysterious crossing ancient clan's supreme treasure, and also the foundation of the mysterious crossing ancient clan's strength. However, I feel that it has become a shackle to the mysterious crossing ancient clan. It has caused the mysterious crossing ancient clan's experts to wither day by day." Clearly, he didn't approve of seclusion. The white-haired clan head fell silent again. After half an incense stick's worth of time, he suddenly raised his head and looked outside the cave abode. His face was filled with shock as he suddenly stood up. "Clan head, what's going on?" Seeing the clan head's expression, Jin Malong asked in surprise. "What's that person's name?" "The Tao sculpting divine emperor that you just brought into the life ring." The white-haired clan head's voice even trembled slightly. Jin Malong quickly replied, "I didn't ask. I heard Sichin Qiutian call him Ningcheng." Ningcheng. The white-haired clan head muttered twice before saying, "Hurry up and call Sichin Qiutian, who brought Ningcheng here." "No, I'll go over myself." "Clan head?" Jin Malong felt even more confused. The white-haired clan head pointed outside the cave abode with a trembling hand. "How long has it been? That Ningcheng is about to step out of my range of sight." This time, it was Jin Malong's turn to be shocked. He knew that the clan head could see within his range of sight. The clan had cultivated in the life ring all year round, so he could see the first 8 rings of the life ring. Once one stepped into the 9th ring, even the clan head wouldn't be able to see it from the outside. Only by entering the life ring tree could one know the situation. The white-haired clan head's tone calmed down a bit. "It hasn't even been 4 hours since that Ningcheng entered the life ring. Ningcheng might spend a bit more time in the life ring, but it shouldn't be more than a day. A Tao sculpting divine emperor can enter the 8th ring from the 1st ring in a day. Does our mysterious crossing ancient clan have such a thing?" Ningcheng had indeed reached the 8th ring. Every time he entered a deeper layer of the life ring, Ningcheng felt that he had gained more. Because of this, he couldn't wait to enter a deeper layer of the life ring. Just as he stepped into the 8th ring, he felt the surrounding Tao charm draining away his entire body. He could even clearly feel the passage of time, and feel his life being sucked away by the life ring. He felt as if he was about to be squeezed into pieces by the changes between the 7th and 8th ring. This extreme change in the Tao charm laws made him feel extremely uncomfortable. However, his mysterious yellow formless cultivation method was formless and formless. No matter where he cultivated, the mysterious yellow formless cultivation method could change with the surrounding spiritual qi, the laws of heaven and earth, and the passage of time. This problem, which was extremely difficult for others, did not exist for Ningcheng. He could stabilize his Taoist aura in the shortest time possible, and become one with the surrounding environment after entering any of the circles of the annual rings. Ningcheng had never entered a life ring before. Now that he stabilized the 8th ring, he didn't feel his Tao charm dissipating. At this moment he didn't hesitate and directly stepped into the 9th ring. Chapter 1046. Ningcheng almost couldn't hold back his Tao charm, and wanted to rush into the flow of time. Fortunately, he managed to calm his mind in time. Despite the impact of the time rings, he remained motionless. Time flew like an arrow, and the years flew like a shuttle. In the end, it was just a trace in the laws of time. His sunset's twilight was also a trace in the laws of time. It's just that the traces had different depths, and the laws had different heights. If the ninth ring of the time rings was just like this, then why not take it a step further? In the middle of the endless public square, Sichen Qiutian sat alone on the ground. He seemed to have sunk into the surrounding space, and didn't show any fluctuations. Dao friend Sichen. Jin Malong's greeting interrupted Sichen Qiutian's meditation. He suddenly stood up, and 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes. When he came to the mysterious crossing ancient clan, he already knew the rules here. The mysterious crossing ancient clan lived in seclusion in the Grand Essence Sea, and never had any friendship to speak of. He brought Ningcheng here to ask for the time rings to cultivate. In fact, the moment Jin Malong took Ningcheng away, the transaction ended. At the end of the 3 months, before he and Ningcheng left the mysterious crossing ancient clan, Jin Malong shouldn't have come to speak to him. But now that Jin Malong came out, the only possible reason was that something happened to Ningcheng in the time rings. But Ningcheng hadn't even entered the time rings for a day, so how could something happen so early? Based on his understanding of Ningcheng, this shouldn't have happened. Dao friend Jin, is it about Ningcheng? Sichen Qiutian found his heart in chaos for the first time since he entered the mysterious crossing ancient clan. Only then did he realize how much he valued Ningcheng. Yes, but also wrong. A white-haired old man standing next to Jin Malong suddenly spoke up with a smile. When he saw Sichen Qiutian's gaze land on him, he gave a polite greeting and said, "Mysterious crossing ancient clans Li Feng greets Dao friend Sichen." Sichen Qiutian felt shocked. He only realized that Jin Malong didn't come alone. Before the white-haired old man Li Feng greeted him, he seemed to have merged with everything around him. But when he spoke, his entire person became clear. "Dao friend Sichen, this is the patriarch of my mysterious crossing clan." Jin Malong hurriedly explained when he saw Sichen and Qiutian's shock. Sichen Qiutian hurriedly bowed. Sichen Qiutian greets Clan Leader Li. Clan Leader Li's cultivation is extraordinary, and you must have already reached Dao integration. I was ignorant and didn't notice it just now. Please forgive me. Haha. Li Feng laughed and immediately sat on the ground. Fellow Daoist Sichen, please take a seat. Qiutian didn't mind Li Feng asking him to sit on the ground. He had been sitting on the ground the entire time. After Sichen, Qiutian, and Jin Malong sat down, Li Feng sighed and said, "Dao integration is very difficult. I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to do it again in this lifetime." Qiutian was a little surprised to hear that Li Feng wasn't a Dao integration stage Holy Emperor. He had seen far too many chaotic essence Holy Emperors. However, there had never been a primordial chaos sacred emperor as strong as Li Feng. It seemed that even though they were both at primordial chaos, the difference in strength could be so huge. Since Li Feng admitted that he hadn't reached Dao integration, Qiutian didn't know what to say. Just when he wanted to ask Ningcheng about it, Li Feng suddenly asked, "That Ningcheng who came with you, is he your disciple?" Qiutian quickly asked, "Clan leader, what's the matter with Ningcheng now?" Li Feng smiled slightly. "Fellow Daoist Sichen, don't panic. Ningcheng is cultivating in the life ring. There's nothing wrong. I just came to ask if Ningcheng has anything to do with you." Qiutian didn't know what Li Feng meant, so he had to speak the truth. "Dao friend Ningcheng has amazing talent. How can I, Qiutian, cultivate such a disciple?" "So he's a rogue cultivator?" Li Feng's tone even carried a hint of surprise. Qiutian, an old fox who had cultivated for many years, vaguely understood Li Feng's meaning. Ningcheng's performance in the life ring had most likely moved the mysterious crossing clan's clan leader, and he wanted Ningcheng to become a disciple of the mysterious crossing clan. Understanding this, Qiutian replied with peace of mind, "Ningcheng is my Grand Essence Realm's premier pill sage. He once refined the 16 soul pill. This time, he wants to represent my Grand Essence Realm in the 5 Realms pill competition. Because of his lack of strength, I thought of bringing him to your clan's life ring for cultivation." "Refine the 16 soul pill?" Li Feng and Jean Malong asked almost at the same time. They weren't ignorant people. How could they not know what the 16 soul pill was? It was a primordial Dao pill, and not an ordinary primordial Dao pill. Li Feng sighed secretly. Ning Cheng's achievements were already so high. Yet he still wanted Ning Cheng to become a disciple of the mysterious Crossing clan. No wonder Ning Cheng had no relationship with Qiu Tian. And Qiu Tian was willing to use his only chance to bring him to the mysterious Crossing clan's life ring for cultivation. In a place like the Grand Essence realm with incomplete laws, Dao pills were even more important if one wanted to comprehend higher realms. Ning Cheng was a primordial Dao pill sage. Why would he need the mysterious Crossing clan to rope him in? Not to mention becoming a disciple of the mysterious Crossing clan. Li Feng couldn't even say such words. Stepping into the 10th wheel mark of the life ring, Ning Cheng had already prepared himself for the sudden impact of the Dao charm of the passing of time. After experiencing the previous few wheel marks, Ning Cheng knew how crazy this Dao charm could be. Moreover, the mysterious yellow formless circulated around his body at all times, and revolved around his returning to one Dao charm. What surprised Ning Cheng was that the Dao charm of the 10th wheel mark felt extremely warm. Since entering the life ring, Ning Cheng had never felt this kind of integration with the Dao charm of the life ring. It was like a reincarnation. From the first wheel mark of the life ring to the 10th wheel mark, it was a reincarnation. Here he could feel a sense of a new beginning, a joy of integration. Ning Cheng felt sure that if he wanted to, he could enter the 11th wheel mark of the life ring, or even a higher level wheel mark. However, Ning Cheng didn't take another step forward. Instead he sat down. This was the place he wanted to cultivate. As Ning Cheng sat down and operated the mysterious yellow formless to cultivate, the god spiritual chi of the 10th wheel mark of the life ring crazily poured in. It was like all living things returning to their nests and gathered around Ning Cheng. All the origin and the surrounding god spiritual chi blended in perfectly, constantly improving Ning Cheng's understanding of the returning to one Dao. As time slowly flowed by, Ning Cheng completely immersed himself in the life ring. He saw countless powerhouses fighting in front of a gate, and he even saw Tsang Wei. None of the powerhouses here were weaker than him. Some of them were even stronger than him. Even if he had the mysterious yellow bead, even if he cultivated to his peak, he could only watch himself fall in front of this gate. Then his eyes slowly blurred, and he saw himself reincarnating into a broken world where he couldn't cultivate. The first person he saw after his reincarnation was not his sister Ruolan, nor was it Luofei or Qianghua, nor was it Yanji. He was shocked to see Yu Qing. "It's you." Ning Cheng suddenly sat up. "Do you know me?" Yu Qing frowned slightly. After asking, she didn't wait for Ning Cheng to speak and muttered to herself, "You seem a bit familiar." "Why am I here?" Ning Cheng quickly asked. Yu Qing shook her head, and was about to say something when her whole body suddenly blurred. When Ning Cheng opened his eyes again, he had already experienced another round of reincarnation. He saw himself fighting in the endless battlefield, and saw countless familiar friends and brothers fall. Finally, a long spear pierced his chest. Another reincarnation, peddlers and pawns, emperors and generals. He had been an outer disciple in an ordinary sect, struggling on the edge, and finally killed while snatching spiritual grasses. He worked hard between heaven and earth, but after a year's harvest, he couldn't feed his family. Finally, he became an emperor, but he didn't enjoy it for a few days before he was once again thrown off the throne by the rebel army. Endless reincarnation, endless pain. No, I don't want this painful reincarnation. In the entire world, he was the only one crying out. No one echoed him, no end. Thousand Dao reincarnations had no beginning and end. He fell into an endless reincarnation. He wanted to find the answer and stop this reincarnation, but he couldn't do it. He could only think about it. Give me a reason to stop this reincarnation. Ning Cheng roared out in anger. He had enough. However, he could only feel anger. The powerful Dao charm around him was not something he could control. As if alarmed by Ning Cheng's angry will, the ring in his hand suddenly exploded, and everything inside the ring turned into nothingness. There was only a black slip made of an unknown material floating in front of him. This was the Karma Dao strip that Jiang Man had lent him. The The Karma Tao strip contained the Tao of Karma. Did it want him to cultivate the Tao of Karma? Ning Cheng had just thought of this, when an earth-shattering roaring will swept over him. Heaven and earth had reincarnation, and everything was karma. Sure enough, it wanted him to cultivate the Tao of Karma. Ning Cheng's mind instantly cleared up. This Karma Tao strip could explode his ring, and it came out at this time. From this, it showed that the origin of this Tao strip wasn't simple. Ning Cheng suddenly felt a lingering fear. If his mysterious yellow bead hadn't taken its embryonic form because of the chaos chi of the 5 elements, he wouldn't have been able to put the true spirit world into the mysterious yellow bead. Similarly, Yanji wouldn't have been able to enter the mysterious yellow bead. If the Karma Tao strip came out and affected his Tao foundation and forced him to change his Tao, it wouldn't just be an ordinary ring and a bunch of spirit crystals and pills, but his true spirit world. Once his true spirit world exploded, what would happen to Yanji? Ning Cheng's back oozed cold sweat. The Tao of Karma was about to choose a successor, and it just so happened that it had chosen him. But he had always cultivated the mysterious yellow formless, so how could he cultivate the Tao of Karma? The Tao charm of samsara once again appeared. It showed that if he didn't change his Tao of Karma, he would once again fall into an endless cycle of reincarnation. I do want to cultivate the Karma Tao strip, but it's not the Tao of Karma, but the Grand Karma Spirit technique. My Tao is the Tao of returning to one, and my cultivation method is the mysterious yellow formless. 1,000 Tao reincarnations have no beginning and end, and all karma return to one. The Tao charm of Ning Cheng's spiritual platform instantly became clear, and the Tao sense roared around him, suppressing the Tao charm of samsara. Your reincarnation has no beginning and end, and your karma is endless. Return to one. Chapter 1047. Boom. At that moment, Ning Cheng felt his entire body rumble as a clear and powerful great Tao power poured into him. The entire heaven and earth became clear as surging Tao runes condensed. The embryonic form of the return to one Tao finally appeared. Ning Cheng slowly stood up, and his eyes regained their calm. 3 months were about to pass. Under the influence of the Karma Tao slip, his spirituality had erupted, and he had an instant epiphany. Finally, he had succeeded in Tao birth. Once he reached Tao birth, his Tao runes became extremely solid and showed no signs of instability. Although he was only at the early stage Tao birth, the Tao runes flowed smoothly like someone who had reached Tao birth for many years. They were one with his body and did not feel abrupt at all. During the 2 or 3 years in the tree ring, he seemed to have only done one thing, which was reincarnation after reincarnation. It was not until the last moment that he suddenly had an epiphany and advanced to Tao birth. During this period, he did not use any Tao pills or any external objects. He only relied on his epiphany. Ning Cheng did not look into the depths of the tree ring. During the cultivation of the 10th ring mark, he knew that he could not reach the end of the tree ring. Previously, he had thought that he could go deeper, but that view might not be right. Going deeper did not mean that he could cultivate in a more stable manner, nor did it mean that he could integrate into the Tao runes and laws of the tree ring. The tree ring was not as simple as he had imagined. Perhaps it was a kind of luck that he had stayed in the 10th ring, and not entered the 11th ring. It was a kind of luck that had saved his life. Ning Cheng did not cultivate the Karma Grand spiritual ability. If he wanted to cultivate such a spiritual ability now, his understanding of the Tao runes and laws was far from enough. He took out a ring again, and put the Karma Tao slip inside. Although Ning Cheng knew that no matter how strong the Karma Tao slip was, it could not destroy his mysterious yellow bead, he still did not put it inside. After all, he had borrowed this Tao slip. Sooner or later, it would escape from his ring and go find Jiang Man. Union Master? Ning Cheng walked out of the tree ring, and found Si Chen Xiutian standing on the green grass again. Not only was Si Chen Xiutian here, but Jean Malong, who had brought him into the tree ring, was also here. Besides Si Chen Xiutian and Jean Malong was a white-haired old man. Looking at this white-haired old man, Ning Cheng had a feeling in his heart that this person was definitely a powerhouse. His strength definitely far surpassed that of Si Chen, Xiutian and Jean Malong. Ning Cheng, you really did it. When Minister Xiutian saw Ning Cheng, He knew that Ning Cheng had successfully reached the Dao birth realm. Not only did he succeed in Dao birth, but Ning Cheng's Grand Dao's Dao charm was also very condensed. Congratulations on reaching the Dao birth, Dao friend Ning. Jean Malong was the first to greet Ning Cheng. Si Chen Xiaotian quickly spoke up. Ning Cheng, this is Patriarch Li Feng of the Mysterious Crossing Ancient Clan. He has been waiting for you for 2 days. No wonder he's so powerful. He's actually the Patriarch of the Mysterious Crossing Clan. I wonder if he's already reached Dao integration long ago. Ning Cheng had seen Dao perfection powerhouses before, but unfortunately, Ancestor Kang's cultivation hadn't recovered at all. Therefore, Ning Cheng didn't know how strong a Dao perfection powerhouse was. Greetings, Patriarch Li. Greetings, fellow Daoist Jean. It's all thanks to the mysterious fairy ancient clan's life ring tree that I was able to successfully reach the Dao birth. Although Ning Cheng knew that the opportunity for him to cultivate was given to him by Si Chen Xiaotian, he still wanted to express his gratitude. This time, when he advanced to the Dao birth realm, his harvest in the life ring was truly extraordinary. What's more, Ning Cheng still thought that it would be great if he had the opportunity to cultivate in the life ring tree in the future. With so many powerful opponents, he urgently needed to improve his cultivation level, and the life ring tree was simply a treasure tailor-made for him. Unfortunately, the life ring wasn't his, and the conditions for entering the life ring tree to cultivate seemed a bit high. What made him feel even more helpless was that he didn't have any friendship with the mysterious fairy ancient clan. Dao friend Ning, you're too polite. Dao friend Ning managed to reach the Dao birth realm in such a short time, because of your talent and qualifications. Even without the life ring, Dao friend Ning could easily achieve this. If Dao friend Ning doesn't mind, you can come to my mysterious fairy ancient clan as a guest at any time in the future. Li Feng was extremely polite to Ning Cheng and spoke in a warm tone. Jean Malong waited for Li Feng to finish speaking before quickly taking out a jade card and handing it to Ning Cheng. Dao friend Ning, this is my mysterious fairy ancient clan's teleportation jade card. As the Patriarch said, you can come to my mysterious fairy ancient clan as a guest at any time in the future. Just as he was worried about not having any friendship with the mysterious fairy ancient clan, the mysterious fairy ancient clan sent him a jade card? Ning Cheng looked at Si Chen Xiaotian in doubt. He had nothing to do with the mysterious fairy ancient clan. So why was the mysterious fairy ancient clan so polite to him? He knew that it wasn't easy for the mysterious fairy ancient clan to come in. Si Chen Xiaotian saw Ning Cheng looking at him and smiled. Patriarch Li, you don't have to decline this kind offer. If possible, help the mysterious fairy ancient clan refine a few cauldrons of Dao pills in the future. So that was the case. Ning Cheng finally understood. Si Chen Xiaotian must have mentioned his identity as a primordial Dao pill saint, and the mysterious fairy ancient clan wanted to rope him in, which was why they gave him the jade card. After Ning Cheng understood this, he quickly took the jade card and said, "Many thanks, Patriarch Li. Many thanks, Dao friend Jean." He wondered how many times he could enter the mysterious fairy ancient clan with this jade card. However, he definitely couldn't say this out loud. Although Ning Cheng was a primordial Dao pill saint, he didn't particularly care about Dao pills. He had successfully reached the Dao birth realm in the life ring tree, so he didn't use any Dao pills. Moreover, he felt that he didn't need Dao pills. Instead, he could rely on his understanding of the Grand Dao and the laws of heaven and earth to advance. Ning Cheng also knew that not everyone could be as heaven-defying as him. Most people had to rely on comprehending the laws of Dao pills to advance. In fact, Ning Cheng and Si Chen Xiaotian had guessed wrong this time. Although the mysterious fairy ancient clan wanted to befriend Ning Cheng, this wasn't the main reason. The mysterious fairy ancient clan valued Dao pills, but like Ning Cheng, they didn't need Dao pills. Instead, they relied on their own understanding of the laws of heaven and earth to advance. Li Feng didn't explain Si Chen Xiaotian's words. Seeing Ning Cheng take the jade card, he nodded and said with a smile, "In the future, my mysterious fairy ancient clan might have disciples outside. If they encounter any difficulties, I hope that Dao friend Ning can lend them a hand." The mysterious fairy ancient clan wasn't secluded anymore? Ning Cheng felt very puzzled, but he still quickly said, If I have the fate to meet the disciples of the mysterious very ancient clan, Ningcheng will definitely treat them sincerely. Because of Li Feng's enthusiasm, Ningcheng and Sichen Xiutian were treated as distinguished guests of the mysterious very ancient clan. They stayed for another day before being sent away from the clan. By the time Ningcheng and Sichen Xiutian returned to the Heaven Essence Sacred City, it had only been a little more than a month since the Five Realms Pill competition. Because Cheng Houtian stayed in the Heaven Essence Sacred City, Ba Meng, who was worried about his son Ba Luo, had already left. Time was of the essence. After Ningcheng greeted Cheng Houtian and the others, he immediately went into seclusion to start refining pills. This time, he still refined the Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pill. Ningcheng had refined 2 furnaces of Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pills in the past. Although he had failed both times, he had accumulated some experience. This time, when he advanced to the Tao Birth Realm, his strength had soared, and he could control the laws of heaven and earth's Tao charm more freely. In just half an hour, Ningcheng started to grab the Supreme Micro Tao Fruit and Sky Ice Word's Tao Fruit laws. Ningcheng finally managed to retain the Tao Fruit laws that had previously collapsed on contact, and integrated them into the Tao Pill. Another half an hour later, Ningcheng pulled out 12 Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pills from the pill furnace, and put them into the jade bottle. 3 high grade for medium grade, 5 low grade, and no special grade medicinal pills. However, Ningcheng felt extremely excited. In a sense, this was the first furnace of primordial Tao pills he refined. The reason why he couldn't refine any special grade medicinal pills was because he didn't have enough strength. If he had grown stronger, combined with his understanding of the Tao of alchemy, he could have even refined 12 special grade medicinal pills. In just 4 days, Ningcheng finished refining the rest of the Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pills. In the last few furnaces of Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pills, Ningcheng controlled the number of special grade medicinal pills in each furnace to around 90%. For a primordial Tao pill sage, this result was worth showing off. Refining the 9 Lives Fire Dragon pill was slightly more difficult than refining the Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pill. But with the experience of refining the Supreme Micro Heavenly Ice Pill, Ningcheng successfully refined all 5 furnaces of 9 Lives Fire Dragon pills without a single failure. Each furnace of special grade medicinal pills also maintained around 90%. Ningcheng left the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill for last. Not only was this pill the most difficult to refine out of the 3 Tao pills he wanted to refine, but more importantly, the materials needed to refine this pill were just too precious. There were 2 main types of Tao fruits for the Heaven Essence Tao pill. One was the Heaven Essence fruit, and the other was the Supreme Yin Sacred fruit. The Heaven Essence fruit was of the Yang attribute, and carried a strong Sun Tao charm law. The Supreme Yin Sacred fruit was of the Yin attribute, and carried a similarly strong extreme Yin Tao charm law. The most important thing for refining a Tao pill was to integrate the Tao charm law from the Tao fruit into the Tao pill. If it could remain intact, it would be the most perfect Tao pill. Ningcheng only had 5 furnaces of divine grass materials for the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill. Unlike other Tao pills, Tao fruits and law divine grasses were the most difficult to find in other Tao pills. Not only were the Heaven Essence fruit and the Supreme Yin Sacred fruit difficult to find, but there were also more than a dozen auxiliary divine grasses that were extremely difficult to find. Therefore, Ningcheng was extremely careful when he started refining the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill. Even if it was just an auxiliary divine grass, he handled each one with extreme caution. With Ningcheng's level in the Tao of alchemy, he had no problems refining the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill. When extracting the Heaven Essence fruit and the Supreme Yin Sacred fruit's laws, although it was a bit difficult, Ningcheng still managed to do it. But when he integrated the 2 kinds of Tao charm law into the Tao pill, Ningcheng couldn't even stop it. The Tao charm law of the Heaven Essence fruit and the Supreme Yin Sacred fruit directly collapsed. The first furnace of the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill failed unexpectedly. Before this, Ningcheng never thought that the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill would fail in such a way. Even if he refined the 6 Yin Soul pill, he wouldn't have failed without any resistance before taking out the bestowing lawless fruit. The failure of the first furnace of the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill cast a shadow over Ningcheng's heart. The reason for this was that he had a reason for every previous failure. But this time he didn't know the reason. He only had 5 furnaces of the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pill in total. If he failed again, he would have to succeed in the remaining 3 furnaces of medicinal pills. Chapter 1048. Ningcheng did not dare to continue to refine the second batch of Heaven Yuan Heavenly Pills before he was able to find out the reason behind it. Even if he tried to refine 100 batches of Heaven Yuan Heavenly Pills, he was afraid that it would still end in failure. Ever since he had learned alchemy, this was the first time he had encountered such a situation. After failing, he did not know the reason. The Heavenly Heaven Pill was very precious, but this kind of pill formula was not precious. Basically, all the major sects knew about it. Therefore, Ningcheng did not doubt that there was a problem with the pill recipe. His attainment in the Tao of Alchemy most likely stood at the pinnacle of the entire Grand Essence realm. Now that he encountered a problem he couldn't solve, apart from constantly failing several times to find the cause, he could only ask Sichen Qiutian, who was also a legendary Tao Essence Pill Saint. Otherwise, there really wasn't any other way to solve it. Seeing that Ningcheng had come to find him again, Sichen Qiutian felt very happy. This showed that Ningcheng had a place for him in his heart. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come looking for him, Sichen Qiutian, whenever there was a problem. Ningcheng, what kind of problem did you come looking for me this time? The 5 Realms Pill competition was about a month away. Did you come here to discuss the Tao of Alchemy with me? Sichen Qiutian happily invited Ningcheng into the guest room. After Ningcheng gave a salute, he spoke. Association Head, I encountered a problem during the process of alchemy, and would like to consult with Association Head. Oh, tell me about it. Sichen Qiutian's face turned solemn. He had personally witnessed Ningcheng's attainments in the Tao of Alchemy. Even if it was him, he would not be able to refine the 6 Yin Soul pill, but Ningcheng was actually able to refine it. Not only did he refine them, they were all top-notch pills. Ningcheng sat down and said, I promised Tao friend Sun Rushuan of the Sunken Fish Palace to refine 5 furnaces of Heaven Essence Tao pills for her. Now that I've refined the first furnace, I've failed. Failure isn't a big deal, but I don't even know where I failed. After listening to Ningcheng's words, Sichen Qiutian remained silent for a long time before saying with a long sigh, Ningcheng, everyone knows that I'm a primordial Tao alchemy saint, but everyone knows that I never refine pills for others. Do you know why? Ningcheng shook his head. I don't know. Qiutian sighed again. The reason why I don't refine pills for others is because of the Heavenly Heaven Pill. Seeing Ningcheng looking at him with a puzzled expression, Sichen Qiutian spoke up in a low voice. I have refined a total of 51 sets of Heavenly Heaven Essence pills. Ningcheng was truly shocked this time. How could Ningcheng not know the value of the Heaven Essence Heavenly Pills Tao fruit, and the value of the divine grasses? After so many years, the Sunken Fish Palace had only managed to make 5 furnaces after so much effort. Of course, this was what Sun Rushuan had said. As for whether the Sunken Fish Palace only had the materials for 5 furnaces of heavenly elixir, he wasn't sure. There was at least one thing that was beyond doubt, and that was that the ingredients of the Heavenly Pill were extremely precious. Sichen Qiutian had actually refined 51 batches of pills by himself. This pill sage's wealth was simply unimaginable. Ningcheng believed that if Sichen Qiutian wasn't a primordial Tao pill saint, he wouldn't have been able to obtain so many Heavenly Heaven Pill materials for refining. Sichen Qiutian's tone was even more dejected. But I didn't succeed even once. How is this possible? Ningcheng spoke in a startled voice. As far as I know, the Heavenly Heaven Pill is a pill recipe handed down from ancient times. It is absolutely not wrong. How is it possible for the association head to refine 51 batches of pills, and not even one batch was successful? There was another sentence that Ningcheng didn't say. That is, as a primordial Tao pill saint, if he failed to refine the same kind of pill 51 batches, it would be shameful for him to be a primordial Tao pill saint. There is absolutely no problem with the pill recipe, because I have seen the Heavenly Heaven Pill, which means that someone has refined the Heavenly Heaven Pill before. Not only that, the Great Change Realm also has the Heavenly Heaven Pill. Si Chen Xiao said with certainty. After saying that, without waiting for Ning Cheng to ask, he continued. At our level of alchemy Dao, refining 51 batches of the same kind of pill without success made me doubt my alchemy Dao. I didn't dare to continue refining the heavenly heaven pill. And because of this, cracks appeared in my Dao heart. The pills I refined were collected by many sects, but I couldn't give them an answer. However, they didn't blame me, and they didn't even take back the heavenly heaven pill materials they gave me, which made me feel very guilty. After I lost my confidence in the alchemy Dao, I focused my energy on the alchemy meeting. During the last alchemy meeting selection, I took out the 5 heaven essence fruits, which were left over from refining the heavenly heaven pill. Even if I don't refine the heavenly heaven pill with the heaven essence fruit, it can still enhance my understanding of the primordial Dao realm. I didn't dare to waste this heaven and earth Dao fruit, which is almost impossible to find, so I took it out as a prize. Ning Cheng finally understood why the last selection reward was 5 heaven essence fruits. It turned out that there was a hidden story behind it. Whether it was the martial Dao, the dermic Dao or the alchemy Dao, losing confidence was the most terrifying thing. No wonder he always felt that Si Chen Xiao was a little depressed. If he had refined 51 batches of such precious heavenly heaven pills without success, it would have shaken his Dao heart. Association Master, did you find the reason why you failed 51 batches of heavenly heaven pills in a row? Ning Cheng asked nervously. He came here because he couldn't find the reason. He knew that an excellent alchemy sage would always know part of the reason for his failure after his own pill refining failed. Even if he didn't know everything, as long as he slowly corrected it, he would eventually succeed. Si Chen Xiaotian's face turned slightly pale. He shook his head silently and didn't speak. Ning Cheng sucked in a breath of cold air. Si Chen Xiaotian was a primordial Dao alchemy sage. How could his alchemy Dao be simple? A primordial Dao alchemy sage, even if he failed 51 batches of heavenly heaven pills in a row, could find many reasons. However, Si Chen Xiaotian failed 51 batches of heavenly heaven pills in a row, and he couldn't find the reason? Someone had refined the heavenly heaven pill before, and Si Chen Xiaotian had also seen the heavenly heaven pill before. Therefore, it shouldn't be a problem with the pill recipe or the divine grass. Could it be that only a primordial Dao alchemy sage could refine such a pill? After coming to the Grand Essence realm, he had seen many ancient books on the alchemy Dao. The difficulty of refining the heavenly heaven pill ranked far behind the 6 soul pill. Ning Cheng's heart sank. Although he had only failed 1 batch of heavenly heaven pills, if he couldn't find the reason, he would most likely end up in the same situation as Si Chen Xiaotian and lose confidence in the alchemy Dao. His Dao of returning to 1 contained the Dao of alchemy. If he lost confidence in the Dao of alchemy, his Dao of returning to 1 wouldn't be as perfect as before. After a long time, Si Chen Xiaotian finally spoke up. For so many years, I've been thinking about the same question. That is, what's the reason for the failure of the heavenly heaven pill? I've also suspected the pill recipe, but I've repeatedly deduced this pill recipe without any mistakes. I've also studied many ancient pill recipes, and the heavenly heaven pill's pill recipe isn't a secret. Most of them are exactly the same. The subtle differences don't have much of an impact. Ning Cheng knew that he hadn't reached Si Chen Xiaotian's level yet, so he couldn't deduce the heavenly heaven pill's pill recipe without any mistakes. It wasn't because his alchemy Dao wasn't as good as Si Chen Xiaotian, but because his cultivation hadn't reached the Dao essence realm. If he wanted to deduce the pill recipe for advancing to the Dao essence realm, his cultivation would have to reach the Dao essence realm, or his Grand Dao's Dao charm would have to reach the Dao essence realm. In recent years, I've come up with a possible reason. What's the reason? Ning Cheng couldn't wait to ask. Si Chen Xiaotian said in a low voice. I've repeatedly checked the last time the heavenly heaven pill appeared, and found that the few remaining heavenly heaven pills appeared before the Grand Essence realm's heaven and earth laws shattered. Since the Grand Essence realm's heaven and earth laws shattered, no heavenly heaven pill has appeared. Many sects and cultivators use the heaven essence fruit to comprehend the primordial Dao realm, instead of refining the heaven essence heavenly elixir. Association Master, are you saying that the Grand Essence realm's heaven and earth laws are incomplete, which makes us unable to refine the heavenly heaven pill. Not because our alchemy Tao level isn't high enough? Ningqing spoke out in shock. He subconsciously felt that this statement was correct. Otherwise, there was no reason why he couldn't find any reason for failure. Sichen Qiutian nodded with a solemn expression. This is the reason I speculated. As for whether it's true or not, I've never tried it. But Association Master, you've been to the Grand Change Realm. Why didn't you try refining in the Grand Change Realm? Ningqing asked hurriedly. Sichen Qiutian shook his head. I have the title of a primordial Tao pill saint, but I can't refine primordial Tao pills anymore. Ningqing fell silent. He understood what Sichen Qiutian meant. It was because Sichen Qiutian had lost confidence in his alchemy Tao. Was there anything more tragic than an alchemy Tao expert losing confidence in his alchemy Tao? Ningqing didn't ask Sichen Qiutian why he didn't take out the materials to let the Grand Change Realm's primordial Tao pill saint refine it. Even he wouldn't do such a thing. An Elixir Association's association master, who led a team to the Grand Change Realm to participate in the pill competition, had to ask the Grand Change Realm's pill saint to refine pills. This was worse than losing confidence in the alchemy Tao. Association Master, is it because the Grand Change Realm's heaven and earth laws that the 5 realms pill competition is held in the Grand Change Realm? Ningqing asked. Sichen Qiutian looked at Ningqing and said, I also thought about it. Now it seems that it's really the reason. I didn't know that a primordial Tao pill saint like you would appear in the pill discussion conference. Otherwise, I would have left a few furnaces of heavenly heaven pills for you to refine in the Grand Change Realm. Association Master, don't worry. I still have a few furnaces of heavenly heaven pill materials. I'll go find Sin Rushuan later. If she wants, I'll take her to the Grand Change Realm. If she doesn't want to, I believe that there will always be a chance in the future. Ningqing comforted him. He had to find the real reason and restore Sichen Qiutian's confidence in the alchemy Tao. After leaving Sichen Qiutian's cave, Ningqing didn't immediately go to find Sin Rushuan. Instead, he returned to Sword 3 Mountains Cave. He wanted to refine another furnace of heavenly heaven pills. Not for anything else, but because he felt that Sichen Qiutian's ideas over the years were correct. The reason why the heavenly heaven pill couldn't be refined was because the heaven and earth laws of the Grand Essence realm were incomplete. He wanted to refine another furnace because he had the 5-element Chaos Qi. The 5-element Chaos Qi was formed after the Chaos Qi merged with the 5 elements of heaven and earth. If the heavenly heaven pill failed because of the incomplete heaven and earth laws, then the 5-element Chaos Qi could definitely make up for this deficiency. Chapter 1049. If it were any other time, Ningqing would never have used 5-elemental Chaos Qi to refine primordial Tao pills. This was because the 5-elemental chaos energy itself was more precious than the primordial Tao pill. It was just like using the incomparably precious bestowing lawless fruit to refine the 6-yin soul pill. It was also an act that outweighed the gains. But now, Ningqing urgently needed to know if his failure to refine the Heaven Essence heavenly pill was caused by the incomplete laws of the Grand Essence realm. Carefully taking out the materials for the second batch of Heaven Essence heavenly pills, Ningqing brought out the furnace. This time, Ningqing used the Celestial River Flame. Compared to the Nameless Flame, Ningqing preferred the Celestial River Flame. Ningqing melted the divine grasses and removed the impurities, leaving behind only the essence of the spiritual liquid. Ningqing also sent the Heaven Essence fruit and the Extreme Yin sacred fruit into the furnace. At the same time, Ningqing captured the Tao charm laws of these 2 Tao fruits. At the same time, Ningqing sent 5 different attributes of primal chaos qi into the pill furnace. As soon as the 5-elemental chaos qi entered the cauldron, the spirit liquid origin essence, and the Tao fruit law Tao runes within the cauldron stabilized. They were no longer as erratic as before. Heaven Essence fruit Tao fruit law. Condense a Tao core for me. Great Yin sacred fruit, Tao fruit law, form a Tao core for me. For the first time in his life, Ningqing shot out one pill art after another, constantly injecting his own Tao of Alchemy's Tao charm into it. The essence of the pill liquid fused, the Tao runes of the 2 Tao fruits fused, and the alchemy Tao laws fused again. All the rules had returned to one. The heavenly pill had been formed, the pill aura had fused, and the Tao pill had taken shape. Ningcheng showed neither sorrow nor joy, his whole person was as calm as a stone. Since planting the first divine grass, Ningcheng hadn't encountered any obstacles. His first cauldron of heavenly pill had failed because the Tao rune laws of the two Tao fruits had inexplicably dissipated when they fused into the Tao core. However, there was nothing wrong with this cauldron of pills up until now. 6 hours later, a burst of pill fragrance wafted out. Ningcheng knew that the heaven essence Tao pill was about to form. From the looks of it, Situ Chun and Qiu Tian's deduction was correct. The laws of heaven and earth here were broken, and it was indeed not suitable for refining the heavenly Qianyuan pill. 12 milky white pills flew out of the furnace and fell into the jade bottle that Ningcheng had prepared. The pill tribulation that Ningcheng had been guarding against didn't appear, which made Ningcheng suspect that the last pill tribulation wasn't because of the 6 soul pill, but because of the bestowing lawless fruit. Each of the 12 heavenly pills contained a powerful Taoist aura. Not only that, but there were also traces of the chaotic aura of the 5 elements. This kind of heavenly heaven pill was many times better than ordinary heavenly heaven pills. Ningcheng took out a heavenly heaven pill and placed it in the palm of his hand. On the surface of the milky white pill, one after another pill line after another flowed out. It looked very pleasing to the eye. Putting away the heavenly heaven pill, Ningcheng decided to refine a furnace of heavenly heaven pill in the Great Change realm without adding any 5 elements origin qi. The heaven essence heavenly pill couldn't be refined in the grand essence realm, because the laws of heaven and earth were incomplete. Star Stepping Tower, Ningcheng really didn't want to come here. However, he had to come because Sun Rushuan lived in the Star Stepping Tower. He had broken his promise twice in a row, and he still needed Sun Rushuan's materials for the heavenly pill, so he could only take the initiative to visit her. I felt that something good would happen today. Sure enough, Pill Sage Ning is here. Sun Rushuan happily opened the room's restriction and welcomed Ningcheng into the room. After Ningcheng entered the room, he found that the Sunken Fish Palace's Palace Master Luan and Yin Yueshu were also there. He had to greet them one by one. Palace Master Luan's status was higher than his. As for Yin Yueshu, he still owed her a favor. Since Pill Sage Ning is here, the medicinal pills must have been refined. Unexpectedly, Palace Master Luan, who didn't like to talk, suddenly spoke to Ningcheng. Ningcheng cupped his fists again and said, "The supreme heavenly ice pill has been refined. Here are the medicinal pills." After saying that, Ningcheng took out 9 jade bottles and placed them on the table. Sun Rushuan quickly grabbed one of the jade bottles and scanned it with her spiritual consciousness. Then she said with great satisfaction, "Many thanks, Pill Sage Ning. Pill Sage Ning really lives up to his reputation. You actually have a 90% top-grade medicinal pill." She heard Ningcheng say that the supreme heavenly ice pill had been refined, but he didn't mention the heavenly heaven pill. She knew that Ningcheng had encountered some problems while refining the heavenly heaven pill. The reason she said this in advance was that she didn't want Palace Master Luan and Ningcheng to become enemies. After all, Ningcheng was a primordial Tao alchemy saint. 5 batches of heavenly heaven pills was a shocking value. However, if Ningcheng failed, it wouldn't do the Sunken Fish Palace any good if they became enemies with him. The Sunken Fish Palace didn't have the means to kill Ningcheng. Even if they could, so what? Palace Master Luan said indifferently. That is to say, Pill Sage Ning didn't refine the heavenly heaven pill? Ningcheng cupped his fists and said, "I would like to ask Palace Master Luan if you know that the heavenly heaven pill is very difficult to refine. Is that why you haven't asked anyone else to refine it?" Ningcheng believed that the Sunken Fish Palace definitely knew about the difficulty of refining the heavenly heaven pill. Since they knew about it, they still asked him to refine the heavenly heaven pill, and didn't say that they wouldn't pursue the matter if the refinement failed. Sun Rushuan quickly said, "Pill Sage Ning, the heavenly heaven pill is indeed difficult to refine. The Sunken Fish Palace has never given the heavenly heaven pill to others because there are only 2 primordial Tao alchemy saints in the entire Great Essence realm. Apart from Pill Sage Ning, there's only Guild Master Sichen Qiu Tian. Pill Sage Ning also knows that Guild Master Sichin never helps others refine pills. Therefore, we can only find Pill Sage Ning. We don't have any other intentions. Ningqing felt embarrassed. He was a primordial Dao alchemy saint, so he didn't think that a primordial Dao alchemy saint was anything special. This was because he was in this mountain. Now that Sun Rushuan said the reason, he came to his senses. Just as Sun Rushuan said, he seemed to be the only one in the entire Great Essence realm who was qualified to refine the Heavenly Heaven pill. If the Sunken Fish Palace didn't choose him, who else could they choose? Seeing Ningcheng's embarrassment, Sun Rushuan asked, "Is there a problem with refining the Heavenly Heaven pill?" Ningcheng didn't hide it this time and said honestly, "Yes, my first batch of Heavenly Heaven pill failed, so I didn't dare to continue refining. Later, I asked the guild master, and he told me that it was probably due to the incomplete laws of the Great Essence realm. Therefore, I didn't refine the next few batches of pills. I came here to discuss something with senior apprentice Sister Ru Xian. That is, allow me to bring the materials of the Heavenly Heaven pill to the Great Change realm for refining. If it doesn't work, I can compensate for the loss of the materials of the Heavenly Heaven pill and return the unrefined materials to you." Ningqing didn't hide the reason why he failed to refine the Heavenly Heaven pill. He felt that the Great Essence realm was already lacking in resources. If everyone was like Si Chun and Xiao Tian, wasting 51 batches of pills to find the reason, then the Great Essence realm would grow weaker and weaker. He told this reason so that Sun Rushuan could spread the word and tell others that the Heavenly Heaven pill couldn't be refined in the Great Essence realm. As for the batch of Heavenly Heaven pills he refined, Ningqing didn't want to give it away. His batch of pills contained the 5-element Chaos Qi, which made it many times more valuable than ordinary Heavenly Heaven pills. So that was the case. After hearing Ningcheng's words, Palace Master Luan's face turned a lot better. Sun Rushuan said, "Since my Sunken Fish Palace chose to ask Pill Sage Ning to refine the Heavenly Heaven pill, we will believe in Pill Sage Ning. Pill Sage Ning, please bring the pills into the Great Change realm for refining. Even if all of them fail, my Sunken Fish Palace will not say anything. If Pill Sage Ning can get a ranking in the 5-realm pill competition, I only hope that you can leave one for my Sunken Fish Palace." Sun Rushuan's words made Ningqing feel very comfortable. He cupped his fists and replied, "Senior Sister Rushuan, don't worry. If I can really get a ranking in the 5-realm pill competition, I will definitely leave one for the Sunken Fish Palace. In that case, I'll take my leave first." "Okay, Yueshu, see Pill Sage Ning out." Sun Rushuan didn't want to keep Ningcheng. After all, the palace master had given Ningcheng a hard time. Yes. Without waiting for Ningcheng to refuse, Yin Yueshu opened the room's restriction and walked out. "Junior Sister Yueshu, please come in. I still have something to do," said Ningcheng politely after following Yin Yueshu out. He was going to send Gong Shimao's pill over. Since she was easy to talk to, he didn't want others to think that he was a primordial Dao alchemy saint. Yin Yueshu didn't go in. Instead, she lowered her head and said in a very low voice, "I want to invite Big Brother Ning to Heaven Essence Sacred City. I wonder if Big Brother Ning is free?" When Ningcheng heard this, he knew what Yin Yueshu was thinking. Yin Yueshu wanted to befriend him through the relationship between a man and a woman. However, he didn't feel any affection from Yin Yueshu. In other words, Yin Yueshu wanted to befriend him just to use him. This woman really thought highly of herself. She had even dared to use such low-level means on him. "I'm really sorry. I have a lot of things to do these days. I really can't accompany you to the streets. Don't worry. If you want me to refine a furnace of elixir pills in the future, I definitely won't refuse." Ningcheng's words were very clear. "I owe you a favor. Helping you refine a furnace of elixir pills is enough to repay it. As for other ideas, we'll mind our own business. Don't waste my time." Alchemy Sage Ning is really unromantic. A beautiful woman invited you to go shopping. She wants to date you, but you actually refused. A crisp voice rang out. Then, a woman in black with a veil over her face appeared not far away. "Star-stepping Tower Master?" Ningcheng's eyes narrowed and he became vigilant. He now had a Dao birth cultivation level, while the Star-stepping Tower Master shouldn't have reached primordial chaos. Ning Cheng believed that even if the other party suddenly attacked, he would have two choices. One was to rush into Tsin Rushuan's room, and the second was to take out the god-slaying bead and rush out of the star-stepping tower. However, Ning Cheng believed that the star-stepping tower master would not dare to make a move. Both of his options were for precaution. Date. Ning Cheng frowned slightly, as he obviously didn't understand the meaning of these two words. However, he was even more certain that the star-stepping tower master was from Earth. If this woman had really poisoned Cheng Hotian, then she was definitely sinister and cunning. The star-stepping tower master stared at Ning Cheng with a smile in his eyes. You really don't know how to date? Then let me tell you. This woman is in heat and wants to sleep with you. Inyueshu couldn't stand such shameless words. Her face turned cold as she bowed to Ning Cheng and turned to leave. If someone else had dared to say this, she would have killed them. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.